Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So how many of y'all gonna fall asleep because y'all stuffed yourselves with turkey today? I ain't gonna lie, I might mess around and fall asleep during the stream because I stuffed myself with some damn turkey. Because you know your boy likes to eat. You know what I'm saying? So you might hear me snoring. If you hear me snoring, just, I see my man TD is in the chat. My man Bronze is in the chat. My man Tony D is in the chat. Y'all know how to reach me. Just call your boy and wake me up. You know what I'm saying? So let me give some shout outs to everybody that's in the building early. Got my man Carlton way up in here. What up with it, bro? Good to see you. We are going to be talking about that Frisco check. Shout out to my man Torian Rain, and shout out to my man TD for putting out some content about that Frisco check. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got Janesta Coleman, a fellow Scorpio, in the building. Shout out to Janesta Coleman. My man Tony D. My man Bronze the God is in the building. My man TD Hip Hop Media up in here. And we got my man Red Raven Rucker. What up with everybody? Good to see y'all. I hope that everybody is doing well. All right. Frisco checks. Frisco checks. August Alsina might be getting one. I don't know. It hasn't been confirmed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But this is the Frisco check. Anybody's curious about what the Frisco check is? San Francisco launches a transgender guaranteed income program. That's nice. Real quick, is anybody in the chat going to be taking advantage of one of these checks? If you guys are, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, give me a thumbs down. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I won't be getting one either. You know what I'm saying? I like the ladies too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm about as straight, you know what I'm saying, as a 180-degree angle. So, I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Mayor London Breed announced the launch of a new guaranteed income program for San Francisco's trans community. The Guaranteed Income for Trans People program will provide low-income transgender San Franciscans with 12 scunnit ducats each month. 12 scunnit big ones. What you guys think about that? They're going to get 1,200 big ones. Usually they only get the big one from their partner. Now they getting an additional 1,119 more big ones, but these are coming from that other guy that's so important in everybody's life, Uncle Sam. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think about that? For up to 18 months to address financial insecurity within trans communities. Breed revealed on Wednesday. Now, here's my question. The same question that I ask all the time. Make this make sense. The LGBTQ community in general has one of the highest, not only net wealth, but net income rates of any demographic in the United States. Now, am I saying that poor LGBTQ people should not be entitled to the same social safety nets that every other person in the United States gets? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, does it look like any effort to provide any social safety net to repair the atrocities that have been done to foundational Black Americans is in the works? Now, here's another question. We've got a lot of scholars in the building. Was there a study done about this to show how this needs to be done? Let me ask another question. Do the LGBTQ people need to have a economics degree, or do they need to be accountants, or do they need to work in banks? Do they need to have some kind of financial knowledge? As a matter of fact, is there any petitions going around saying where every check recipient is going to spend their check? Uh-uh. I don't think so. But let me know. I could possibly be wrong. I'm known to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm known to be wrong. Shout out to Tia to you. What up with it, Tia? Good to see you as always. So now here it says the pilot program is the first guaranteed income initiative to focus solely on trans people. Well, isn't that nice? Let's give these idiots a round of applause because this is the first income initiative that focuses solely on trans people. That is the main excuse why they say they can't do anything when it comes to Black people. We can't just do something for a certain group of people, but we're celebrating this because this is the first time that something like this has been done for a certain group of people. Does that make any sense? If that makes sense, ladies and gentlemen, give me the thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense, give me the thumbs down. Now, what I'd be interested in, because I don't know too much about this, maybe there's somebody in the comment section who may know. What was the process for getting this initiated? See, because it's water under the bridge to complain about it, right? I think that's one thing that we do a lot of times, and I don't think that it really helps a lot. We already know that we have issues. We need to start digging in on dealing with these situations. So, my question would be, how did the LGBTQ community go about doing this? That's my question. Bo's channel says, does it make sense for a Black man to celebrate Thanksgiving, brother? You'd have to ask Black men who celebrate Thanksgiving. I haven't celebrated any holidays in God knows how long. If I recall correctly, I said I ate some turkey because I did. But also, I'm not the authority on the theory of everything. So I'm not anybody to sit there and say what somebody should or shouldn't be doing. See, I don't micromanage. So if somebody else celebrates Thanksgiving, hap at it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. It's not up to me to force my beliefs on people as if my beliefs are some kind of correction, because I guarantee you there's things that I believe that you guys don't believe. I don't believe in religion at all. Ooh. So there's that. But what I think the most important thing that doesn't make sense is why people get a check specifically for being LGBTQ. Yes, I ate turkey on Thanksgiving, but I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. It's kind of the same way that when I eat scrambled eggs, if I happen to eat scrambled eggs on International Scrambled Eggs Day, I don't celebrate International Scrambled Eggs Day. That is it's that kind of thing. The world is correct, Hoteps. This is the best troll screen name ever. Yo, can we get a shout out to the world is correct, though? Hoteps. That's hilarious. Yo, TD, you see that? We made it, bro. We made it. Oh my God. Yo, throw some radiation emojis in the chat for the world is correct. Hoteps. That's the best screen name ever, man. We got to take a vote real quick, man. Who got the best screen name ever? The world is correct. Oh man, that is hilarious. Man, that is funny. Man, that is funny, man. Damn, that is funny. Use a jive turkey. With gravy and stuffing. Shout out to the cornbread. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the pilot program is the first guaranteed income initiative to focus solely on trans people and will provide regular, unconditional cash transfers to individuals or households who qualify. Now, here's my question. Did you guys hear anybody going around saying, well, maybe the LGBTQ community should just get tuition paid? Maybe the LGBT community should get some land grants. Did you guys hear anything about that? I'm dying. I'm dying at the comment section, man. That's great. Yeah. According to the mayor's office, this differs from other social safety net practices by providing a steady, predictable stream of cash to the recipients to spend as they see fit without limitations. No study, no need for an economics degree, no need to be a CPA, no need to have 10 years bank experience, no need to provide a business plan. Must be nice. So the fact that the population at large asks these questions of Black people, it shows what the mainstream thought process and the manufactured thought process that the United States has created, regulated, and implanted in everybody's brain is about Black people. My question to you guys is, what is that thought process? What has the United States trained the rest of the world to think about us? We need a business plan. We need a bib. We need a walker. We need a diaper. We need a bottle. We need a pacifier. And we need some Gerber's baby food. That's what the world says. I disagree with that. So now here it says, and they call it the gift program because when you just get cash, it's a gift. The gift program will provide eligible trans individuals with temporary income and a range of wraparound direct services such as gender affirming medical and mental health care, as well as financial coaching, according to the mayor's office. So they're going to get some free lessons in how to spend their money. So that's interesting. That's interesting. right? So now it says the city will accept applications from November 15th through December 15th. Our guaranteed income program allows us to help our residents when they need it most as part of our city's economic recovery and our commitment to creating a more just city for all, Breed said. We know that our trans communities experience much higher rates of poverty and discrimination, so this program will target support to lift individuals in this community up. Now, again, this is a program that's aimed at specific disparities in a specific community. Now, here's my question for you guys. Here's my question for you guys. Have you all heard any outrage about this program other than people that have been doing YouTube videos talking about it? Have you heard anybody on Fox having issues about it? Has anybody brought in any transgender people to downplay the necessity of this particular government program for transgender people? Has that happened? Have they done that on Fox? Have they done that on MSNBC? Has they done that on CNN? Is that something that you guys have seen? If you guys have seen that happen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not seen that happen, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says our guaranteed program will allow us to help our residents when they need it most as part of our city's economic recovery and our commitment to creating more of a city for all. Now that's interesting, right? We know that our trans communities experience much higher rates of poverty and discrimination. So, this program will target support to lift individuals in this community up. I don't know if you guys saw TD Hip Hop Media's video, but TD's Hip Hop Media's video showed the particular hate crime demographics that take place, and hate crimes against Black people still far overshadow the amount of hate crimes against other individuals. So make that make sense. Yeah, I gotta agree, Bronze. It's gonna be a bunch of uncompetitive men snipping themselves. Facts. Super facts. And I don't watch those channels either, Janesta, at all. So now here it says in 2015, when the U.S. Trans Survey last conducted, 33% of trans Californians were living in poverty compared to 12% of people in the general population. Even with our rich history of trans advocacy, we see that trans San Franciscans experience poverty at exponentially higher rates compared to the general population, said Pau Krigo, executive director of the San Francisco Office of Transgender Initiatives. Lynn Martin, Community Health Service, and the Transgender District are leading the program's design and implementation with support from the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, the Office of Transgender Initiatives, and the Treasurer and Tax Collector. Now, here's my question. Have you guys seen anybody outraged about this on Facebook or anybody outraged about this on Twitter? That's my question. And if nobody is outraged about this on Facebook or Twitter, that tells you something. Because why is there an outrage when we talk about a FBA hate crime bill? Why is there an outrage when we talk about reparations? Literally nobody's saying anything about this. So pay very close attention to that. Because, like I said, it's the silence that speaks the loudest. While healthcare often focuses on the downstream effects of marginalization, we know that changing the material realities of trans communities can significantly impact their health for the better. Indeed, for trans people, it is a life or death situation, said J.M. Jaffe, executive director of Lion Martin Community Health Services. The GIFT program is San Francisco's third guaranteed income program. It follows the Abundant Birth Project and the Guaranteed Income Pilot for Artists. In 2020, the city launched the Abundant Birth Project, which offers basic income for Black and Pacific Islander mothers and pregnant people during and after pregnancy. Now, pay very close attention because when it comes to this particular thing, they lead talking about Black mothers, but they're not giving any kind of cash for this. This is just a health program, which is the thing that we see all the time. The Abundant Birth Project is a simple approach to achieving better maternal health and birthing outcomes by providing pregnant Black and Pacific Islander women. And pay very close attention because, again, when it comes to all of these programs, it's never a program specifically for Black people. When you guys saw the income initiative, that's specifically for trans people. It's not even for the entire LGBTQ community. It's just for trans people. Now, anytime Black people are discussed, we're always coupled with the J community. We're always coupled with the Latino community. Here, they're coupling us with the Pacific Islander community. Now, my question is, why do you think that might be? Why do you think that might be? Now, it gives women a monthly income supplement for the duration of their pregnancy and during the postpartum period as an economic and reproductive health intervention. Each year, qualifying pregnant parents in San Francisco who are Black or Pacific Islanders receive $1,000 per month monthly payments as part of the Abundant Birth Project. Their payments apply for their first trimester until 2 years postpartum. To date, San Francisco has supported 135 birthing parents with monthly payments. The goal is to enroll 150 by the end of the year. In 2021, San Francisco launched a pilot program to offer cash relief to local artists who were disproportionately affected by the C-19 pandemic. So they were offering cash relief to artists who were disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you guys remember what happened in Oregon when Oregon set aside specific money for Black people? You guys remember that? What happened? So now here it says the guaranteed income pilot for artists in partnership with the San Francisco Arts Commission and the Yerba Buena Center for Arts currently provides 190 artists who live and work in San Francisco with monthly payments of $1,000 for up to 18 months. This program is available to San Francisco artists engaged with the community through music, dance, creative writing, visual arts, performance arts, installation, photography, theater, or film. Teaching artists, art educators, and culturally based craft workers and makers are also encouraged to apply. People interested in applying for San Francisco's guaranteed income program for trans people can apply online at this link here. In 2023, the city will launch 2 additional guaranteed income programs geared towards youth. So I think the question that people need to start asking the Democrats, again, start taking tally of these amounts of money that these programs shell out and then ask, well, what was that you guys were talking about in that closed door meeting? What was it that they were talking about in that closed door meeting? Because they sure as hell were saying that this is something that they could not do, but here you go. They're doing it. So I don't know if you guys recall that stream that I did earlier. If you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, make sure that you do. But we were talking about Kanye West and Nick Fuentes. So I found this interesting, right? Because there's this whole quote unquote anti Semitism thing going on. So this person here says, never let a single right winger, quote unquote, or Republican claim that they care about Jays after this. Now, here's my question, right? Why do people need to go around and profess that they care about other groups of people? Does that make any sense? So if I don't just go around talking about how much I care about other groups of people, then that means that I have a problem with those other groups of people. It seemed like that is only a requirement for black people. And what you have here is using these political tricks that the political system uses. As soon as you say something that the heavily funded Democrats don't like, despite the fact that we all know that when it comes to these right wingers and far right wingers and Republicans, that they're in most cases anti-black racists, they'll try to throw a black person into that basket for political and media talking purposes. So now here it says this person here, Nick Fuentes, which we talked about earlier, that's Kanye's new buddy, openly praises Hitler. He is a Holocaust denier. He is one of the US's most dangerous white nationalists. Trump hosted him, and not one Republican said a word. So pay very close attention because this is the posturing game that these people like to play. Nobody should have to say a word. If you have an issue, deal with it and call it a day. They're constantly trying to manipulate other people. You see, they got Charles Barkley, they got Shaq, they got all of those basketball players, they got CNN, they got the they got the New York Times and all of these mainstream media outlets to say all of these things about Kyrie Irving and about Kanye West, but they didn't say very much. All they did was quoted what they got other people to say. Now, see, pay very close attention. They put this out there and then they're throwing the burden of saying something on the Republicans. They use the same playbook literally every single time. They use the same playbook literally every single time. So here's another article, and this will just be the headlines because they have a paywall up on this, and I do not have a subscription to this. But what it's saying is, and we talked about this in the last stream, Trump hosts Holocaust revisionist, and this is what they do. They'll just continue to say that somebody's a Holocaust revisionist or a Holocaust denier, but they'll never show where this was actually said or actually done. This is the same kind of stuff that they're trying to say about Ronald Dalton. You know what I'm saying? Now, the interesting thing that I find that these media uh, outlets are not saying about Kanye West hanging out with Nick Fuentes is Nick Fuentes' white nationalist beliefs and his beliefs about black people. They're not going to say anything about that because that doesn't work for this narrative right here. So we're just going to continue to play along and say silly stuff and then just quote the ADL and say, well, the ADL said this and that makes it legitimate. No, it doesn't. There's literally nothing that the ADL does or has done that is legitimate whatsoever. So now here we're going to talk about this fentanyl vaccine. Did you guys even know that that was possible? I posted something about that on the community wall. They've come up with a fentanyl vaccine. Now, my question for you guys is what do you think about that? What do you guys think about a fentanyl vaccine? That probably took a lot of research and a lot of work to do. Scientists create a vaccine for fentanyl that stops you from getting high on potent opioid that kills 200 Americans a day. Hmm. Researchers at the University of Houston have developed a fentanyl vaccine. The three-dose shot provides the blood with antibodies that clean it from blood. Fentanyl was responsible for 71,000 U.S. deaths in 2021, the CDC reports. The vaccine prevents fentanyl, but not other opioids from reaching the brain. Now, I find this fascinating because there was never any effort to create a vaccine or to create any kind of therapeutic intervention for any other drugs. Why do you think they created a vaccine to keep people safe from fentanyl? In most cases, when it came to the epidemics that affected us, like crack, jail was the vaccine. But not this time. This time, it's fentanyl. A new vaccine may be able to totally block the effects of fentanyl, potentially saving thousands of Americans from overdoses each year. Researchers at the University of Houston in Texas developed a shot that was able to stop extremely potent drugs from entering the brain of rats. Fentanyl binds to opiate receptors in areas of the brain that control pain and emotions. During an overdose, the brain is starved of oxygen, which kills off neurons. The shot was able to block the drug from entering the brain without affecting other painkillers like morphine, meaning a vaccinated person could still be treated with other drugs if needed. So they've customized this vaccine so if you need pain relief, you can still get it. You just can't get it from fentanyl. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So now here it says the vaccine works by stimulating T cells in the immune system to create antibodies which bind to fentanyl in the bloodstream. These immune proteins catch the drug as it enters the body and prevent it from spreading further and causing harm. It then gets processed in the kidney and flushed from the body. Researchers told DailyMail.com that the vaccine could be used by people suffering from opiate use disorder or college students who experiment with illicit substances. Now, what I find fascinating is that they're just not calling these people thugs. They're not just calling these people drug addicts or crackheads or baseheads. Well, these are college students. Fentanyl was developed as a painkiller to be used in hospitals, but it is cheap. But its cheap manufacturing cost and high potency has made it a favorable cutting agent for drug dealers. Meth, cocaine, and street Xanax are just some of the drugs that are being laced with fentanyl. Just 2 milligrams, the equivalent of 5 grains of salt of fentanyl, is enough to cause an overdose. America is currently in the midst of a fentanyl epidemic, with around 200 Americans dying from the synthetic opiate every day. To put that in context, C19 is currently responsible for around 290 deaths per day, according to the most recent official data. Houston researchers hope their vaccine could severely tide the nation's drug overdose crisis and save the lives of thousands. Well, it's interesting. They're concerned about saving the lives of thousands when before the way to deal with a problem like this was to just throw those people in jail, ruin their lives, ruin their families, right? They are aiming to begin phase one human trials for the vaccine next year. When you get a vaccine, we're usually vaccinating people against viruses, but here we are vaccinating a person against a chemical. Dr. Colin Haley, lead researcher and professor at the University of Houston, told DailyMail.com. Dr. Haley notes the body creates antibodies to drugs like fentanyl on its own, though not enough to totally negate it. Published last month in the journal Pharmaceuticals, researchers tested their vaccine on 60 rats, 28 of which were given the shots. The rats were vaccinated with 3 doses, one every 3 weeks before being exposed to fentanyl. Dr. Haley explained that the vaccine worked by targeting a molecule that serves as the backbone of the opiate. The shot uses a fentanyl conjugate, an altered form of the drug's molecule, as its base. It then trains the body to generate antibodies capable of fighting off molecules that make up the drug. When an individual gets the vaccine, they'll get antibodies against fentanyl, he said. The antibodies will bind to the drug and keep it from getting into the brain. If you prevent fentanyl from entering the brain, you prevent it from producing euphoric effects and effects that lead to the overdose deaths. Now, what do you guys think about this? This is fascinating, right? Because again, if you pay very close attention, fentanyl is a drug that hits a specific demographic, and no treatment of that demographic is at all similar to the treatment of our demographic when it came to drugs that affected our community. Now, my question for you guys is, why is that? We all know what the answer is, but let's just hear what you guys think in the comment section. Why is that? The vaccine uses adjuvants, an ingredient used in some vaccine that helps create a stronger immune response. They target specific components of the body's immune response so that protection against disease is stronger and lasts longer. They slow the spread of foreign invaders in the body by reducing the rate at which they proliferate in the bloodstream. This vaccine uses DMLT as an adjuvant. The substance boosts the amount of mucus secreted by the immune system. The Houston researchers took blood samples from the rodents who were vaccinated to determine their antibody levels after each shot. They found a significant jump in antibody levels between weeks 4 and 6, and then consistent protection from the 4th week until the 10th and final week of the study. If you prevent fentanyl from entering the brain, you prevent it from producing euphoric effects that lead to overdose deaths. Fentanyl binds to receptors in the brain, causing a feeling of numbness and euphoria and sedation. Over time, it diminishes the receptor sensitivity, eventually leading to the opioids being the only way a person can reach those feelings. This leads to addiction. When a person overdoses, their breathing may stop, depriving the brain and other parts of the body of oxygen. As a result, the person will suffer a severe brain injury. This can often be deadly. Even survivors will often have permanent brain damage. Naloxone, sold under the brand name Narcan, is the most effective tool doctors and first responders have against an overdose. The fast-acting nasal spray quickly clears up opioid receptors on a person's brain and undoes the effect of the drug. It can only be used in the time immediately after an overdose, though. This vaccine can prevent the overdose altogether. Yeah, I think that part is pretty important to you, because what this shows right here is that if we do not get into our own pharmaceutical business, our own pharmaceutical studies, our own serving of our own demographic, it will not be done. These are things that we have to do on our own. We cannot leave it to the irresponsible and illegitimate population at large, because for one, they're not responsible, and for two, the expectation is that these things are supposed to harm us. That's why they're in place. So we have to take care of those things on our own. So now here it says scientists used experiments to gauge how the rats would react to pain, whether the fentanyl had been negated in their bloodstream. Opioids like fentanyl work by creating a feeling called anesthesia, the inability to feel pain. Each of the mice in both study groups were given doses of fentanyl, 0.05 milligrams for every kilogram of their weight. If the vaccine is effective, then the pain negating effects of fentanyl would not be present in the rats who received the shots. Researchers conducted 2 tests, one which involved applying heat to the rats' tails to see if they reacted. The method is known as the tail flick test, and if the animal removes their tail from heat, it indicates that they can feel pain. A second experiment saw the rats placed on a heating plate as it warmed up. If rodents lifted their legs off the plate, they're then judged to be in pain. Now, pay very close attention to this, right? I want to make sure that you guys understand. Do you see the research methodology that's being done here, using these rats to see how they react to pain? What I want people to understand is that the United States government, the population at large, and the companies that you work for are doing experiments on you and watching how you react every single day. Why do you think they started offering people overtime to work on holidays? Because they know that it's more likely that if they pay more money on overtime, it's less likely for people to not show up to work. It's also more likely for people to want to work that shift because they pay more. It's positive reinforcement, classical conditioning. What they're doing with these rats is the same as Pavlov's dog. They literally do this to us every single day. They do it to your kids in school, they do it to you at work. The Census Bureau collects information on you. The FBI is collecting information as far as crime statistics and everything else. There is a constant information grab and testing of experimental methodologies all the time. That's why, going back to that transgender payout that they're doing, when you ask about the transgender people getting that money, when they say that we need a study for any kind of reparations or any kind of issue that we ask for, when you have the Bureau of Vital Statistics, when you have the Census Bureau, when you have the FBI, when you have the EEOC, when you have all of these data gathering organizations that collect and aggregate all of this data all the time, why is there a need for any kind of study? What is there that needs to be studied? Who needs to study? All the information is right there. So it's just nothing but nonsense, nothing but talking points. So now here it says in both tests, the unvaccinated rats did not react to the pain, signaling that the fentanyl had a numbing effect on the receptors in their brain. Vaccinated rats reacted as expected to the pain stimulus, though, showing the painkiller was canceled out. Tests on brain samples also revealed no traces of the drug. It's as if they never got fentanyl at all. Complete blockade, Dr. Haley said. When further tests were run on other painkillers like morphine and oxycodone, the vaccinated rats showed signs of pain. The anti-fentanyl antibodies were specific to fentanyl and a fentanyl derivative and did not cross-react with other opiates such as morphine, Dr. Haley explained. This means a vaccinated person would still be able to be treated for pain relief with other opioids. Dr. Haley's team have high hopes for the vaccine if proven to be successful. He said it could be used for people addicted to illicit drugs who run the risk of accidentally using fentanyl. Now, here's my question. Who would those people be? Who would the people be that would run the risk of accidentally using fentanyl? It wouldn't be weed smokers. It wouldn't be crack smokers. Who would those people be? What drugs are booted up with fentanyl? In most cases, that would be heroin or meth, right? So, what demographic is that? Now you know why there's the effort to do this, because all lives matter, right? Yeah, that's just what they tell you. Dr. Haley used the example of a parent forcing their child to get vaccinated before going off to college to protect them in case they quote unquote experiment. Well, what about the discipline that goes on in the home? Shouldn't the discipline be enough? Because that's sure as hell the question that they would be asking if this was something involving something that affects our demographic. Some notable cases of fentanyl overdose include rapper Mac Miller, who died of an overdose in 2018, and pop singer Prince, who died in 2016. Illicit versions of the drug are largely sourced from Mexico via China, with experts pointing out that the southern border crisis is the main way that they're tracked into America. And we all know that the United States government is responsible for regulating the southern border. And we know that the United States government doesn't regulate the southern border for its own nefarious reasons. So there's that. So I don't know if you guys heard, I was actually watching a live stream. It was a sports live stream, and they were talking about something that Michelle Obama had said about wearing her natural hair. Did you guys hear about that? we're gonna talk about that eventually. But what we're gonna talk about right now is this Gabriel Union article. And I don't know if you guys saw it. I posted it on my community page, but we're gonna dive into it because to me, this right here is evidence that Gabriel Union has her own body dysmorphic issues. And she's projecting those onto D Wade's child. And that child is being mutilated as a result because D Wade is a beta male and not strong enough to stand up to his wife to protect his own child. Gabriel Union reveals how she used to try to minimize her blackness by hiding her upper lip. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If you tuck your upper lip in, is it going to change your blackness? Gabriel Union is not the type of person who can pass. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why. For one, I don't know why anybody would do that to begin with. But for two, even if like that's not gonna help anything. Like that, like this is just some bizarre mental issue. How many people have ever tried to hide their blackness by hiding their upper lip? Where would you hide your upper lip at? And I mean, they still gonna see your bottom lip. I mean, this is just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Gabriel Union reveals how she used to try to minimize her blackness by hiding her upper lip. I mean, like, what about everything else? What about the skin? What about your eyes? What about your hair? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if you want to hide, like, there's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what hiding the upper lip would do. This is bizarre. You know what I'm saying? So now it says on the surface, it was difficult for Gabriel Union to relate to her character in The Inspection. And I didn't see that movie. Did anybody see that movie? Inez French is a corrections officer who kicked her son, Jeremy Pope, out of the house when he was a teenager for being gay. The drama is based on the true life story of its writer director, Elegance Breton, who attempted to win his mother's love by enlisting in the Marines. So this is one of those reinforcing gay and black type stories. Shout out to my man DeAndre. Yeah, this just proves that she really is batshit crazy. You know what I'm saying? I I don't even get me started, man. I don't even know what to say about this. Union herself is an outspoken advocate of LGBTQ rights, yet she is not LGBTQ. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just interesting. Like, you're not LGBTQ, but you're kind of, in a way, manipulating your child to be LGBTQ. And then when we look back, you have body disturbance issues of your own. Like, I, I don't know what to say. Steadfastly supporting her stepdaughter, Zaya, whom she raises with her husband, D. Wade, who came out as transgender in 2020. Initially, I was like, I live differently. What have I ever given off to make anyone think that I could pull this off convincingly? Union told us in a virtual interview where she was joined by Bratton and Pope. I don't like what? All right, so let's check this out.
Gabrielle, you play the mother who is disapproving of her gay son. It would seem like this one is deeply personal for you, given your own real life family. Can you talk a little bit about that connection? Did that help draw you to this?
It initially it was like I live differently. What have I ever given off to make anyone think that I could pull this off convincingly? And Elegance was just insistent that he had the confidence in me, that he knew I'm the only one that can do this. And I just started to believe him. And then I started to do the work, and I had to figure out, instead of judging my characters, which is what I normally do. I judge them and then I act out that judgment on screen. I had to find the common ground with Inez. And that common ground is all of the things that we are willing to do in order to be seen, in order to move that much further ahead for a check, for a relationship, for acceptance, validation.
Now, I got a problem with this because why? See, like this right here, this is what I was talking about in that other stream. Why is anybody doing that? If people didn't do that, then that wouldn't be what the standard is. I want y'all to pay very close attention. So basically what Gabriel Union is saying is that she can be bought as an agent for the status quo if the price is high enough. And that's the problem with a lot of people. And it's not just women. It's a lot of men that's on that too. A lot of men. Look at Charles Barkley. Look at Shaq. Look at Jalen Rose. So she's just sitting up here unapologetically just letting everybody know, like, hey, I can be bought. I mean, this is just what it is. My question to you guys is, what do you guys think about this? You hearing it right out of the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? This is what these celebrities are on. They don't stand for anything at all, which is one of the reasons why they're not people that we ever picked. Who made Gabriel Union a celebrity or a spokesperson or anything like that? Some organization like the ADL. It wasn't any of us. Did we ever vote and say, Gabriel Union is the spokesperson, and that's just what it's going to be? And I got to agree. Shout out to DeAndre. Anybody who's under the Disney umbrella is definitely bought and paid for. Super facts. Super facts. And I mean, like, what's even more crazy is if you look at this, right? And if you look at what she wants to be a part of, when you talk about child sacrifice, she's an LGBTQ advocate, and look at what's going on with their child. Now, how authentic do you think that is? The stories that you hear about Zaya, that's not something that you hear about every single day. So the question that you got to ask then is, why is it happening with Zaya? Make that make sense. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 18 likes. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button, that would be great. That will get us to 38 likes, which would be awesome. So please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not shared the video out, please make sure that you share the video out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, take a moment, hit that bell icon twice.
Is all of the things that we are willing to do in order to be seen, in order to move that much further ahead for a check, for a relationship, for acceptance, validation.
For it, all the things that we are willing to do. So this is the carrot that's right in front of your face. This is the carrot that they'll put right in front of your face. We know that you people have self-hate issues. We know that you people don't validate yourselves. We know that you people validate yourselves through how you perceive yourself to be viewed by us. So all we have to do is act as if we accept you a little bit, act like we accept you a little bit more, give you a check to be compliant with what we accept. And there you have it. A legend is born. We'll make you a star. We'll take care of the rest of your life until we get tired of you. Gabriel Union is literally saying that right here, as if it's just normal and everyday and okay. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that that's okay? Is that okay?
The work, and I had to figure out, instead of judging my characters, which is what I normally do, I judge them and then I act out that judgment on screen. I had to find the common ground with Inez. And that common ground is all of the things that we are willing to do in order to be seen, in order to move that much further ahead for a check, for a relationship, for acceptance, validation, for white supremacy. What are we willing to gamble with? What are we willing to hand over?
What? Did you hear that? I mean, she's just basically throwing anything out there. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker for the $10 super chat. She says, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad to be back. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate it. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know, make sure y'all show some love. We're going to be streaming another day. So shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. Definitely appreciate the $10 super chat. What do you guys think about what Gabriel Union is saying? Now, here's my question. Have you guys ever heard any other celebrities of any other ethnicity talk like this? In my opinion, if you ask me, this is not okay. What they're doing is pedestalizing weak people with no integrity to try to say, hey, all you got to do is have no integrity and be weak like this person, and you'll make it. We got some butter biscuits and some paycheck for you. You know what I'm saying? That is not okay. Shout out to my man Lunch. What up with it, bro?
That much further ahead for a check, for a relationship, for acceptance, validation, for white supremacy. What are we willing to gamble with? What are we willing to hand over? And for me, you know, I didn't gamble with my children, but I've gambled with all sorts of things.
You did gamble with your child. You gambled with your husband's child. You gambled with your stepchild. To me, literally, her saying that says it all. Like, you said it all. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't gamble with my children, but I've gambled with all sorts of things. I mean, you know, to not make light of it, but I gambled with my upper lip for many years. I would literally smile like this because I thought if I let my full lip be seen, then they would know I was black. I'm like, girl, they knew you.
They're like, what? Okay, everybody in the comment section, does that make any sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If that doesn't make any sense, give me a thumbs down. Like, man, that
You were black. But I literally hid my lip. You know what I mean? Like that, like as illogical and silly and stupid as that is, I tried to minimize my blackness. I tried to constantly be shape-shifting, that dual consciousness. I had multiple personalities. I was trying to constantly, you know, change who I was depending on the room if I thought it was going to get me this far ahead.
Maybe you need to see a psychiatrist. Maybe you need to go sit down on a couch somewhere and talk about that, instead of projecting it onto an innocent child because your husband, you know, doesn't have it in him to defend his own child. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe you just need to go sit down somewhere. You guys ever heard anybody say, go sit your ass down somewhere? Yeah, I think that's in order for Gabrielle Union. Go take a cold shower and go sit your ass down somewhere. That's what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot believe that I'm sitting here listening to this. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, hold on. If I let my full lip be seen, they would know. Bitch, you're black and your skin is brown. You could have no lip and you would still be black. Yeah, it's a lot of black people that don't have, like, you know, the traditional, like, you know, like more full black lips. There's a lot of dark-skinned people that have like really thin lips. Guess what? Guess what? Everyone still knows you're black. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's like wearing clothes 2 sizes too big so people don't know that you're fat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta agree. I think they're saying have several seats now. Yeah, please, please go in the refrigerator, grab a bag of peas and put them on your head and go sit your ass down somewhere on the couch where there's a psychiatrist, because these are psychological issues, man. Like this right here, in my opinion, and I don't want to sound brutal because I don't like just I don't want to just go in on Gabriel Union, you know what I'm saying? But like, she's a woman with body image issues. You know what I'm saying? Her body image issues probably come from being black. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, And clearly, you know, validation and acceptance from other people mean a lot to her, to the point to where uh, she'll manipulate herself to be acceptable to other people because she doesn't have any internal validation. She validates herself on how other people see her. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, that's dangerous, man. It's clearly dangerous for their kid. Because I'm sorry, if you ask me, that's exactly what is being done with their child. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I used to like her for real. I thought she was a proud black woman, but her head is messed up. Yeah, I agree. Now, my thing is, like, you know, I don't hate her for the insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, my thing is, like, when it comes to the insecurities, like, we got complex issues. You know what I'm saying? And I have a level of understanding for everybody's issues that they may have. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Like, I understand what she's saying, but you need to go get some help for that, though. Like, you can't continue to operate like that. That is going to tear not only you up, but it's going to tear your family up too. You're not really doing anything therapeutic by manipulating yourself to attempt to get other people's validation. What you're doing is you're going to tear yourself up, and then you're still going to be in question. Well, is it people actually liking me or accepting me, or are they just liking or accepting the adjustments? You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot go through life like that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm against code switching. I'm against code switching. You know what I'm saying? The way that I feel, present the way that you are. If people like you and they rock with you, they'll like you and they'll rock with you. If they don't like you and they won't rock with you, then that's just it. For every person that don't like you and don't rock with you, is 10 more people out there that will. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you it's mad little girls and women who would love to be Gabrielle Union. And look at how Gabrielle Union is talking about how she sees herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like this is the part where, like, I get it. People got an issue with Gabrielle Union, but this is sad to see an adult like this mentally defeated. Like, that to me is sad, man. So if she's mentally defeated like this, just imagine, like, what she's teaching her family as baseline normal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I agree. It's detrimental not only to her, but to her family as well, and anybody who agrees with her or lives like her. Yeah. She's one of those people that needs some not abuse, but tough love. She needs some tough love and some encouragement. But see, the problem is that at the age that she's at now, you know, they say that people really don't change too much, you know, after the age of 40. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she's what kind of change is actually going to happen if she tried to actually get on some, you know, psychological therapy or some personality improvement or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And, like, the thing that's crazy is, like, she actually believes this. Like, she believes herself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I ain't gonna lie, I code switch because the real me ain't fit for consumption. I was born in an army hospital and can cuss like a sailor. Cussing is illegal in public in Georgia. I'd go to jail. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that's different. For you, literal code switching is literally you following statutes. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I mean, I get that. I understand what you're saying there. Like, that I don't consider that particular. I don't consider that code switching per se. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the telemarketer voice and then get your ass the fuck out the apartment voice. Those are two different voices. You know what I'm saying? You need to, you know what I'm saying, talk about, yeah, this is you know, whoever the hell you calling with that get the fuck with the get the fuck out the apartment voice. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta agree, like, man, she gotta be teaching her kids this mess. And now here's where we tie it all together. If she's feeling like this about herself, she has to be instilling the same kind of uncertainties, right? The same kind of insecurities into her child, which is why we see the child in the situation that the child is in. And the thing that's crazy is that this is blatantly obvious. You'd think the media would talk about it, but if the media talks about it, the ADL, will deem them homophobic because you've been deemed homophobic. You know what I'm saying? Tia says, right. I think she needs to be tested for how she concludes this stuff she comes up with. Yeah, I agree. Where are you getting this stuff from? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. I think she might have saved my man Lunch a ticket. You know what I'm saying? Might have saved him some jail time. He said, I never heard of that law. Well, be careful. You know what I'm saying? Make sure if you swear, you type it into your cell phone. Don't say it out loud.
Shifting that dual consciousness. I had multiple personalities. I was trying to constantly, change who I was depending on the room if I thought it was going to get me this far ahead. All the things that you do for a man, all the things that you do for Jesus, all the things that you do for whoever you think that is going to deem you worthy, deem you good enough, deem you worthy of all the opportunities and life riches.
See, that's that thing that I'm talking about. Do you see her using that word deeming? Deem. I'm going to deem. You see? Deem. That's an issue. And shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. She gangster. She got arrested for it. Man. you got arrested for violating some public ordinance because of your mouth. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Deformed Pretty Boy. What up with it, bro? Good to see you. Good to be back, bro. Good to have you up in here, man. Shout out to you, man. Good to see you, bro. And I gotta agree with DeAndre. She's getting this from her paymasters. This right. See, now this is my thing, right? Now, we can sit here and say, girl, you need to go sit on the couch and this, that, and the other. But let's just keep it a buck. Everybody has some insecurity issues, right? Here's the problem. Society at large understands how to manipulate those insecurity issues to get you to do what they want to. Now, do you think that other women have these same kind of insecurity issues as Gabrielle Union? Probably not. And here's the reason. Gabrielle Union shouldn't even have no insecurity issues because Gabrielle Union, I mean, like, she's a good-looking woman. She up here tucking her lip. If you're a decent-looking person or if you're a good-looking person and you have self-esteem issues, right? Just imagine how bad it is for somebody that's, that's actually not good looking or somebody that's actually, kind of hit. You know what I mean? But what you see a lot of times is sometimes the people who aren't as good looking or somebody that is kind of hit, they have a thicker skin. So they present with more confidence. It's crazy. But the bottom line is that society at large and all the people that we interact with, they all have a full understanding of how to manipulate people based on anti-Black insecurities, which is why the United States perpetuates an anti-Black baseline attitude as an all-American standard in order for there to always be a group of people who can be manipulated if need be. If we need a workforce, we got Black people. If we need somebody to beat up on, we got Black people. If we got products and don't nobody else want to buy them, we'll market them to Black people. That's why we got to get out of this. And one of the ways to get out of this is embrace villainy. Embrace being the bad guy. You want to be scared? I'm going to give you a reason to be scared. I'm going to stand right next to you and say boo right in your face and make you drop your purse all over the place. You want to have that image of me? I'm going to make it 4K. I guarantee you the moment people start doing that, those things will stop. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I was insecure like that. I grew up in a 4% Black area and most were mixed. I was convinced that I was ugly as fuck. And see, that's sad. Like, that's not how that should be. That's not how that should work. You know what I'm saying? And that's and it's not, and a lot of those people who were convincing you that you were ugly did not think that you were ugly. They were just saying that because they were copying behavior that they've seen their parents say. pretty people and ugly people come in all different varieties. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think, honestly, that beauty, it can kind of be a universal language. It's not what the society that we live in perpetuates and shoves down our throat, but, you know, you can look at a bunch of different people and you can immediately see somebody that you're attracted to. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to have a particular type, whatever. If you're not around a bunch of the people that are the same as you, you will see somebody that is not the same as you. You say, oh, this person is all right. You know what I'm saying? That will happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to happen. So the thing is that those people were just trying to make you feel uncomfortable because it was copied behavior. It was bullying because those people grow up like that. That's the kind of dinner time talk that they have. You know what I'm saying? My man, Deformed Pretty Boy says, I think she hates men deep down inside. She got SA when she was younger. What? Oh, she got SA when she was, okay, I know what SA means. That could be it too. She could have some, and see, that's one of the reasons why I say she need to go talk to a psychologist. She might have some repressed anger issues from the SA. You know what I'm saying? Because that definitely causes post-traumatic stress syndrome, and that could definitely play into her already, thoughts that she has about herself. See, like, that's sad, man. DeAndre says, if we want to tear down black people, we have black people. Yeah, right. And then they go get some black people to tear down other black people. Look what just happened with Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't recall this. Did they go and get a bunch of black people to say stuff about Kanye? I saw a couple people saying stuff. It was just the same old, like the Black Lives Matter activists and stuff like that. But I didn't really see I didn't see them like get a bunch of other rappers and try to get the other rappers to condemn Kanye the same way they went and got all them NBA players to try to get them to condemn Kyrie. It was different what happened with Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you took it back. She took it back in the day. Oh, I know. The dude I had a crush on tried to hook up with me on MySpace shortly after high school. Didn't even recognize me. Full name on the screen. See? See? And literally told me you look the same. I'd have been like, yeah, what was your problem back then with your weird ass? You know what I'm saying? You finally found yourself or something, motherfucker.
You'll do anything. You will barter with anything. And for some of us, that's children. And for me, it was my soul many times. So
now that's deep right there. We will barter many things. For some people, it's their children. For me, it was my soul. Damn. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Damn. We letting it all hang out this time.
That's children. And for me, it was my soul many times. So when I realized that common ground, it's dark. It's very dark and disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, this right here tells me that Gabrielle Union clearly doesn't even approve of her own actions. So the question that you got to ask is, well, then why do you continue to make these choices and continue to do the things that you're doing? Ultimately, Union found a link to Inez through some reflection on her self-image and identity. I had to find a common ground with her. Now, see, pay very close attention. When it comes to all of these black people, celebrities, even celebrities, right? When it comes to these black people or celebrities, even Kyrie, right? Let's talk about, let's tie Kyrie into this. What was Kyrie doing? Kyrie was trying to find an identity. Gabrielle Union is clearly having these issues because of self-image and identity. So these people knew exactly what they were doing by using the Sarah Bartman tactics, you know what I'm saying? And, making black women wear the hair wraps on their heads and, dressing codes and all this kind of thing, right? There's nobody else that deals with it. Nobody else had this kind of stuff done. And then if we talk about it, you know, it's just urban legend because nobody deals with this. So what are you people talking about? I gotta agree. She's trying to get a boy pee-pee cut off. She got some deep things going on, right? And it's and her and see like when it becomes problematic is when your mental issues begin to physically harm or mentally harm another person. And see, that's what happens. See, like this mental turmoil that Gabrielle Union has going on inside of her head is spilling out to where it's affecting their family now. You know what I'm saying? And Dwayne Wade is not putting a stop to that. Or I don't know if he's trying to get her some help or anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's true. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker is not her kid. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says I had to find a common ground with her, and that common ground is all of the things that we're willing to do in order to be seen. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What are you guys willing to do in order to be seen? And is that your motive to be seen in order to move that much further ahead for a check, for a relationship, for acceptance, validation, for white supremacy? What are we willing to gamble with? No one else has to deal with these kind of gambles. And this is one of the reasons why, see, like exactly what Gabrielle Union is saying right here, that right there is one of the reasons why I'm against code switching. Because that's what that code switching causes identity issues, man. You confuse yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree with DeAndre, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with DeAndre, give me a thumbs down. DeAndre says Dwayne needs to get his nuts out of that jar on the mantle above the fireplace and get his woman in check. And he need to do it this Christmas. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? See, she says, and for me, I didn't gamble with my children, but I've gambled with all sorts of things. So this right here, this whole section right here, that's just a quote that she made during that little video segment. So I'm gonna skip down here. It says, I think hurt people hurt people. Yeah, you're hurt and you're hurting your child. Probably hurting your husband too, because he doesn't know how to deal with you. And healed people have the ability to help heal other people, Union says of the film's messages. You just have to want to do different and want to love differently. And you have to know that you're really losing nothing in loving completely. Now to me, she just kind of got lost there. But yeah, I mean, like to me, this is evidence of what I be saying. And I agree. He is part of the issue. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker. Absolutely. 100%. Because he's allowing that. That is his biological child, and he's not protecting that biological child from harm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got to agree with you on that. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. She's absolutely hurting someone else's child. And the other mother, if I'm not mistaken, has been trying to intervene. And I'm sure she don't have the kind of resources that D Wade and Gabrielle Union got. You know what I'm saying? She don't have those kind of resources. So she just stuck. Now, here's my question, right? And this ties in to that. All right. How many of y'all heard about this? There was this whole thing with Michelle Obama, and Michelle Obama said America, quote unquote, wasn't ready for her natural hair. Now, my question for everybody is, what do you all take from this statement? America wasn't ready for her natural hair. I want to know what all y'all think about this. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. America wasn't ready for her natural hair. Now, I watched a live stream right? It's a smaller YouTube content creator. I really like his channel. If I'm not mistaken, the guy's name is Broken Traditions. All right. So if you guys happen to check out that channel, or if you guys happen to see that channel, recommend it and you subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you let him know that, I was checking out his video and that's what inspired me. Cause I don't like to quote, I don't like to like jack people's content. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an original person. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to come with my own shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm doing something or doing a spinoff of something that somebody else did, I gotta get him credit for it. You know what I'm saying? So I was checking out Broken Traditions. If I'm not mistaken, that's his name. He's a black dude that does sports commentary, and he live streams at times and he drops videos. And I think that his content is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So I was watching a live stream that he did yesterday, and I don't know if it was his significant other, if it was his wife or whatever, but his wife is a black woman, and she was on there with him, and they had like a panel type thing going, something that y'all don't see over here on Black Light Revelations. You know what I'm saying? They had a panel going, and they were talking about Michelle Obama and the hair issue. And what I found interesting was that it seemed to me that some of the men didn't really believe it. They kind of like thought that it was cap. And his significant other or his wife or his girlfriend or whoever that was, she was like, "Nah, this is real. This is facts." Now, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? And I agree, Tia. Michelle's name doesn't carry weight anymore. And my thing is, if she wanted to do something about this, she should have done it while she was in office. And the best thing that she could have done was just to wear her natural hair while she was in office, if that's what she wanted to do. But she didn't do it. And now she's choosing to, on November 18th of 2022, talk about the shit. A little bit late. You know what I'm saying? A little bit late. You know what I'm saying? Running on CP time. You know what I'm saying? So DeAndre says the public wasn't ready for a black president and first lady, but the hair is where people draw the line. Yeah, okay. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I want to walk around with my underpants. Wait, hold on. With my under wig plates. Is that what it? Walk around with my under wig plate? What's an under wig plate? I want to comb my hair as little as white people and men. You get 5 minutes of combing. Look, I don't get 5 minutes of combing, man. I don't know if y'all seen me. Me and TD do our live stream. My hair is long as hell. That's why it stays in braids. Oh, plaits. Okay, got you. Braids, got you. Okay. Yeah, man, my hair stay in braids. You know what I'm saying? My shit is like Bone Thugs and Harmony long, man. I'm not doing all that every damn day. You know what I'm saying? You about to get corn rolled up and call it a day. And now I've gotten so lazy where I don't even do all that. We finna do 4 corn rolls and that's gonna be it. We're not doing no designs. I'm not in my, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not in my 20s and 30s and shit no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing no designs. I ain't doing none of that shit. 4 cornrows to the back, we done. You know what I'm saying? Call it a day. It's a transaction. We finished. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing all that extra shit that I used to have crazy braids. Like, man, my shit used to braid all on top. Like, man, my shit used to have, I used to have braids like Allen Iverson and like all that. I ain't doing that. No, and my hair is too damn long to be taking braids like that out. I'm not about to do that. You get sweaty. Like, I don't feel like doing it. It's too much anymore. What's about to end up happening is y'all gonna catch me one day on Just Talking with a damn bald head haircut. You know what I'm saying? But I've been saying that for like years and it ain't happened. So, but I think that this is legit. I think that what Michelle Obama is saying about America is legitimate. I just don't think that Michelle Obama is legitimate. White people don't want to admit this. And when white people don't want to admit something, they'll try to shame you and make you feel like you're doing something wrong about it. Like if you say, I don't feel comfortable because y'all act funny about my hair. Oh, us evil white people just making everybody feel uncomfortable. You didn't answer my question. Well, I don't know why you feel uncomfortable about my hair, but clearly you culturally do have some kind of comfortability issues about my hair, because during the slave eras, you used to make people cover their hair up for some damn reason. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've actually seen that. I've actually seen like people in the workplace, like on some awkward type shit. Oh, is that your hair? Oh, I've seen that before. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, goodbye. I'm not about to clean up this mess that this person about to make out of your ass for asking that inappropriate ass shit. Yeah, and I gotta agree, DeAndre. Michelle was doing the leftist victim thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, like, man, I'm this as see, like, the reason why I gotta agree with what she's saying is because I am a brother with long ass hair. My hair is long as hell. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I've worked in corporate positions before, and I don't cut my hair, man. I've not cut my hair since high school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not cutting my hair. Now I've got it trimmed up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But as far as like a haircut, a fade, if you anybody that can find any pictures of me out there on the internet, I haven't had a haircut like a fade since my 20s. And like I'm talking early 20s. You know what I'm saying? And people look at you funny, man. And like my thing is, I don't care if you look at me funny or not. See, like I don't care. Like I'm that type of person. Like you want to act like that? I'm gonna give you a reason to act like that. I'm gonna make you feel real uncomfortable. you, you know how TD be saying I'm a bully? Like I am kind of. You know what I'm saying? Because it's funny to me because like if it's not me playing that game, then the other person is gonna play that game with me. I'm gonna see how much I can do to you to make you break. I'm gonna tell you got to wear a dress code. I'm gonna tell you you got to get it. You got to shave with a straight razor, even though your face get razor bumps all the time. Okay, cool. You think I'm gonna shoot you? You think I'm gonna beat you up randomly? I'm gonna just act like I'm gonna beat you up randomly. I'm gonna just, be talking at a regular volume and then just start talking loud as hell. You know what I'm saying? Or just, start, saying some crazy shit. Why not? I've been at jobs before where I've seen very strange interactions between black women and white women. Very strange interactions. You know what I'm saying? And usually it's Karens. Like older, like some boomer type women. You know what I'm saying? TD said he gonna get you to pray. That's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Them days is over. You know what I'm saying? Those days of prayer are over. You know what I'm saying? This is the era of world domination, and the world is correct. You know what I'm saying? But like, we shouldn't have to. I see. Like, I don't understand how like you can have these liberal initiatives, right? And they talking about fat shaming and talking about all this kind of extra shit, but literally all the appearance stuff that we deal with is all black shaming. You know what I'm saying? The closest come to Jesus moment I'm ever gonna have is when I look like Jesus, when I got a full beard and my braids out. You know what I'm saying? That's the closest come to Jesus moment I'm gonna have. You know what I'm saying? When I actually look like him. You know what I'm saying? What tribe are you in? You know what I'm saying? Take me to Ronald Dalton. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Take me to Ronald Dalton. We got work to do. You know what I'm saying? But I think that people should wear whatever kind of hair they want. I've been a big advocate of that. all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, I had a fro. You know what I'm saying? That Malcolm X movie changed me and shit. I don't know if anybody else seen that Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, but that shit changed me. You know what I'm saying? I already had issues because I went to a school from 1st through 5th grade that was in a predominantly white neighborhood, and the kids that were there and all the teachers that were there were vile ass racist. I'm talking about kindergartners were vile ass racist. I don't care what these Karens that they get on Fox News say, well, a 5-year-old can't be racist. Oh yeah, if you don't think a 5-year-old can be racist, I can give you names. I can give you teachers who can validate the names, and I can give you the name of the school where I dealt with the shit. So I don't be trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll put somebody's whole family out there, the city that they live in and everything. You know what I'm saying? But like there was me and my brother and 3 other black kids that went to that school. And they were constantly messing with the girl, because it was one black girl that went to the school, constantly messing with her. You know what I'm saying? Constantly messing with me, constantly messing with my brother. Then when I moved to the area where I finished my high school, my middle school and high school career, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was more of a mixed crowd, and you know what I'm saying? Like I had more friends, like not just there was more people available, I should say, than racist white kids to be friends with. And when I say more people available, I mean also there was white people that weren't vile ass racists, you know what I'm saying? But like the thing that was crazy is people will just overstep their boundaries like you're supposed to let them. And see, I got a reflex. Like if you come and try to like touch me or something like that, and I don't know you, like I'll slap your hand or I'll push you or something like that. And people have tried it. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm looking up like, yeah, try it again. Next time you'll be getting up off the floor. Because like me personally, like I don't do that. Like I might see somebody that's not black and they got like a cool hairstyle or something like that. No, okay, you know what I'm saying? That shit look pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to run up there and grab all in their hair and be like, let me touch this shit. Is it your? I'm not gonna do that. But a lot of times, that's what people do. That's not appropriate. And it's not up to us to make somebody feel welcome to behave that way. If somebody behaves that way, then that person needs to be checked. See, my issue with Michelle Obama right here is that it don't matter what America was ready for. Man, we wasn't ready to be slaves here. We wasn't ready for Jim Crow. We wasn't ready for somebody to tell us that our entire existence is inappropriate. We don't owe anybody anything. Sit up here talking about what America was ready for. I don't care. Man, back before braids and all that was popularized, back in the Snoop Dogg era, back in the Bone Thugs and Harmony era, man, I had braids. I ain't care. I walked up into the job with the braids. I walked up into wherever I had to go with braids. I don't care. Nowadays, you got white people like feeling like they getting discriminated against because they got a full body tattoo. I got a full body tattoo too. The only problem is that I was born with mine. Yours was voluntary. So I don't have no sympathy for that. But at the same time, no, I don't feel that people. I don't feel that your job should be dictating how you look, unless you're just completely inappropriate for work. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you, I've seen these kind of interactions take place. You know what I'm saying? These interactions take place. They'll be cutting little girls' hair, sticking stuff in little girls' hair, grabbing little girls' hair. asking, is this your hair? I mean, why are you even asking that question and shit? If it is or if it isn't, who cares? Why would it not be? You know, I've had people ask me, is this my hair? I look at them like they crazy as hell. I don't even answer that shit. Like, what? Look at you like you crazy as shit. You know what I'm saying? But now here's my question.
This holiday, one couple has discovered an enchanting new word.
Oh, did y'all hear that? Did something just play from somewhere? Hold on real quick. Hold on real quick. What just happened? Did y'all see that? What? This literally just, hold on real quick. Okay, there we go. I don't know how that happened. Okay, yeah, we good now. All right. So my question for you guys is, why should we feel the need to care if America is ready or not? See, this is my problem with Michelle Obama here is the same problem that I had with Gabriel Union. We don't need to show any consideration to anybody about anything. Nobody ever apologized to me that I can't find an Afro comb. Nobody ever apologized to me that I can't find a do-rag if I go somewhere. Nobody ever apologized to me that I can't use those whack-ass razors because I get razor bumps all over the place. You think I'm going to apologize about my hair? I don't give a fuck what you think about my hair. You know what I'm saying? I care what I think about my hair, and I like my hair braided. And that's how you gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? And like, to me, that's how everybody should be. To me, this right here, what Michelle Obama is talking about, this is a level of code switching. And then there were some people in the comment section of Broken Traditions video, and they were saying, well, you know, a lot of the critique that comes with the hair comes from, quote unquote, our own community. And I've seen that too. I've told y'all before, one thing that I can't stand is when people say that mixed people have good hair, or people that got curly hair got good hair. If you have hair on your head, you got good hair. Because there's a lot of people out here, look at LeBron James, your shit could be looking like him. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. You actually got something up there. Shout out to Miss D. What up with it, Miss D? Shout out to my man Alonzo. What up with it, bro? Shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker for the $5 super chat. Make sure that you guys drop some radiation emoji. Show her some love for promoting natural hair. I ain't combing it no more. I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is that people should be able to wear their hair however they want to. I'm going to tell you right now, shout out to everybody that wears their natural hair. My shit is going to be in braids. My hair is too damn long. My life is not conducive to be sitting around doing all that. And on top of it, one time, I'm going to tell you all this stupid ass story and shit, but this is some real shit. One time I was driving to get my hair braided, you know what I'm saying? And I was smoking a Black and Mild, and I flicked the cherry out the window, and the wind blew the cherry back in my fro, and that shit got stuck. And I didn't realize that the cherry was in my fro until I was like maybe like 30 seconds down the road. I started smelling hair burning. I was like, man, what the? I was like, what? It smelled like it smelled like the beauty salon in this motherfucker. Like, what the hell? Then that shit started getting hot when it got when it got down to my scalp. I was like, oh shit, I almost got in a car accident. I had to pull over real quick. I got out the car, people looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm waving my hands through my fro. You know what I'm saying? There's fro all over the place and smoke coming out my head and shit. No more incidents like that. We're staying braided up. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Alonzo Griffin. Make sure y'all show some love for the $1.99 super stickers. Throw some radiation emojis in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that shit actually happened. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people be like, you know, you need to be fist pumping. You know what I'm saying? With that natural fro. Listen, man, if you ain't ever burnt your shit off with a damn black and mild, I ain't trying to hear it. You know, listen, I promote other people wearing their shit the way they want to wear it. Let me let me wear my shit the way I wear mine. You know what I'm saying? You know. So now here says Michelle Obama said that Americans weren't ready for her natural hair when her husband Barack Obama was elected president. I forget who it was that said this, right? You know what? It was actually Tavis Smiley. It was Tavis Smiley on that interview that he did with TD. You know what I'm saying? Tavis Smiley said that people weren't ready for a quote unquote aesthetically black president, a black phenotype, I think was the words that he used exactly, president either. He said the United States would have gave a very different response if it was a president that looked like Rick Ross versus a president that looked like Barack Obama. And I agree with that. I think that there's a reason why Obama was chosen to be the president. Y'all think they would like, what if Barack Obama looked like Wesley Snipes? Do you think they would have voted him in? I don't think they would have. Because to me, and I agree with Tia, she late to the party. She big late. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask me, one of the reasons why Barack Obama got elected was because he was like really non-threatening. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like a streamlined, business casual, light-skinned dude. I don't know if y'all ever watched Breaking Bad, but Barack Obama remind me of Gus Fring. Now we all know Gus Fring was a killer. You know what I'm saying? Barack Obama ain't no killer. Actually, he is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know about the drone assassinations, but I think during the Barack Obama presidency, they were at an all-time high. But you know what I'm saying? That's y'all know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? Barack Obama is not somebody that presents as somebody that's like threatening. You see, like I can't see the United States voting in somebody like Wesley Snipes that look like Wesley Snipes or somebody that look like Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? Because like America fears a phenotypical person that looks like that. They can sit there and say that they would as much as they want to. Ain't no way in hell that would have happened. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Alonzo for the $1 super chat. Definitely appreciate you, bro. So my question is, why is there a need to appease the United States of America or the population? See, this is my issue. Michelle Obama, she didn't wear her hair natural, and her reason for doing it was America wasn't ready. Now, you know, if you spent, you know, some money on a nice relaxer and you like how your hair looks relaxed, okay, now you ain't got to explain that, you know what I'm saying? But since she did, she's saying that the reason why she wore her hair the way she wore it is because America isn't ready. To me, I don't care what America's ready for. And this right here is setting the precedent that as the president and the first lady, as the alleged most powerful people in the United States, you still have to aesthetically please the population at large. And in my opinion, if you ask me, that's BS. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I actually saw a WS website that said Wesley Snipes has a white Aryan facial feature. No BS. That's because anybody that they like, they just say that they white and then just later on in history change them. What? Just wait. In 200 years from now, if we don't get our act together and start dominating the world, it won't be us who was the victims of the transatlantic slave trade. And then there'll be some future NBA cyber basketball player who's playing in the intergalactic basketball league who says, I want to find out my heritage on Earth. I think my people were involved in the transatlantic slave trade. Here come the ADL talking about his anti-Semitic. Just watch. It's coming. unless we do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Michelle Obama said that Americans weren't ready for her natural hair when her husband Barack Obama was elected president. During an appearance at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C. earlier this week to promote her new book, and this is why she talking this shit, because she promoting the book. These motherfuckers always come out of the closet or come out of the under from a rock when they promoting the damn book. The Light We Carry, Overcoming in Uncertain Times. The former First Lady sat down with Ellen DeGeneres, which I call her Ellen Degenerate, for a chat. Obama revealed that she straightened her hair as the American people were just getting adjusted to having a black family in the presidential office. Who cares? That should have been a ripped off Band-Aid with all the hair and skin stuck to it. Who cares? Cares what America's adjusting to? This is the kind of stuff, this right here. This is that kind of stuff, y'all. This stuff right here irks my soul. Who cares if what America's adjusting to? She should have had the Lauryn Hill type little things that Lauryn Hill used to have and some braids one week. You know what I'm saying? She should have done whatever the hell she wanted to do with her hair. Are you serious? Well, she had to have one of them people in the White House do her hair or something, so it was only certain styles they knew how to do. I mean, shit. I'm sure one of her daughters could have braided or done her hair. So now she says, "Let me keep my hair straight," Obama recalled. Let's get health. Now here we go with this. Let's get health care passed. They tripped out when Barack wore a tan suit, referring to the criticism Obama faced for his fashion choice in 2014. Why are you caring? Why are you listening? See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Yeah, I agree, Alonzo. It's going to be a white Tupac. People are, then you're going to have these idiot agencies. Oh, these people are ridiculous trying to say that Martin Luther King was a black person. This is just Afrocentric nonsense. This is just Afrocentric nonsense. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac Shakur, Notorious Big, they were all white men. This Afrocentric nonsense. See, that's how they do it. They taking the education out of the schools. We already got a conflict about who was quote unquote slaves in Egypt. That's what Ronald Dalton and Kyrie Irving talking about. Now they taking our history out of school, talking about the slave trade because it makes people's butt hurts. So now, what you think the ADL is not going to sit around and scoop that up and add that to their already interesting collection of information that they have? I'm being anti-disinformation. You know what I'm saying? I'm being anti-disinformation. You know, it's not, you don't get canceled anywhere for saying slavery didn't happen. You get cheered on for it. You know, there was only like 2 white people who owned slaves. I mean, the rest of the slave owners were all black. And, you know, they were black here owning slaves. And all they did was just bought slaves from other Africans. I mean, literally, you got everybody saying that. You got people in California. Yeah, see? You know, the blacks sold each other to other blacks, Holmes. I mean, everybody's saying it. Everybody doing it. Let you say one thing about Event H. You're not fit to walk through a trash incinerator. But you will be until they shift the narrative. And just like the reason why they own the media, the reason why they own Hollywood, slowly turn that into their story, just like we'll do The Woman King, just like we'll do Wakanda Forever, just like why those people are writing stories about the Amistad. Well, we got to make sure that the Amistad wasn't a J-owned slave ship. If we're going to talk about slavery, we got to make sure that we cut out our involvement now. I mean, because if we don't, then it's anti-Semitic. It's not anti-Semitic. Survival and self-determination are not anti-anything. When you see that there are multiple groups of people waging war against you, there is literally absolutely nothing wrong with protecting yourself by any means necessary. That's why shaming language, none of that stuff works for me. I don't, if that's what you want to call me, if you want to call me an anti-Semitic, if you want to call me anti-LGBTQ, if you want to call me this, that, and the other, I will allow you to call me that once you've come face to face with me and we've had a debate about my position. And if you say that my position is anti-XYZ and you can properly explain why, then you can do what you want. But in most cases, that's not what's going to happen. You see, nobody's standing in line to debate Ronald Dalton. But Ronald Dalton is available. He's out there. He's on Twitter every day. He was just on Lisa Cabrera's stream today. He's available. But the mainstream media, the very people who have never even picked up a book, are now expert book critics, expert documentarians. It's fascinating how that works. Shout out to Abby Normal. Protect your neck. Facts. So now here it says the great indignity, the scandal of the Obama administration. We deal with it. The whole thing about, do you show up with your natural hair? Obama said. That's the African American experience. But women in offices that are worried, should I wear skirts? Should I wear pantyhose? I hate pantyhose. Michelle Obama is currently touring around the U.S. to promote her new book, in which she shared the contents of her personal toolbox and the habits, practices, attitudes, and beliefs, and even physical objects that she uses to overcome her feelings of fear, helplessness, and self-doubt. The 58-year-old mother of daughters Malia and Sasha wrote the book. Her third is not a how-to manual, but rather a series of honest reflections on what my life taught me so far. So, like, she's saying that to promote her new book, which I think is sad and disingenuous. And I gotta agree with Tia, and I gotta agree with Miss D, and I gotta agree with Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. Sis, you're late. Oh, I missed that. Ronald Dalton was on We Woke Now the other day. Damn, I gotta go back and watch that, man. Man, I missed that. I would have loved to check that out. If y'all don't follow my man We Woke Now, make sure y'all go check his channel out, man. That is a thorough brother right there. You know what I'm saying? That is a thorough brother. But if you forget, I won't be mad at you, because racism makes you lose your mind. I saw Harvey. He got a YouTube channel called Your World, Superboy. He actually did a video about this, and I thought this was interesting because I always tell people about white supremacist brain damage. Here you go. now we got some clinical evidence of it. A study finds that racism causes Black Americans' brains to age faster than people of other races, increasing the dementia risk. Now, what I find fascinating is that Dr. Rashad Ritchie didn't happen to bring this up in his debate with Jared Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next time. Dr. Ritchie challenged him to a live debate, and Jared Taylor accepted it. So maybe that's something that we'll see. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says a study of brain scans of Black, white, and Latinx people found that Black brains age faster than other races. The study found Black brains exhibited signs of aging like greater white matter sooner than other brains. Researchers said exposure to racism and discrimination could be causing brains to age faster. Now, here's my question for everybody in the comment section. Do racism and discrimination cause anxiety? If racism and discrimination cause anxiety, give me a thumbs up. If they do not, give me a thumbs down. Do they cause stress? If racism and discrimination cause anxiety and stress, give me a thumbs up. If they don't, then give me a thumbs down. Now, the reason why I asked that question is because what does stress cause your body to produce? Shout out to Jamal. What up with it, bro? What does stress cause your body to produce? Stress causes your body to produce a hormone called cortisol, right? Charles Barkley looks like his veins and arteries pump nothing but cortisol. If you ever want to see what a deteriorated person that just looks like their glands are oozing cortisol all over the place, look at Charles Barkley. He's the perfect example. Another thing that happens is hypertension. And hypertension is important because hypertension can cause delivery issues with your circulation. It can cause circulatory issues. So we know that high blood pressure is associated with anxiety, right? And increased cortisol production is associated with anxiety. Hypertension can cause damage to your arteries. If there's damage to your arteries that's caused, then that has created difficulty in your blood flow of delivery of oxygenated blood, because that's the difference between veins and arteries. Veins deliver blood that have no oxygen back to your lungs in order to get oxygen, and your arteries deliver oxygenated blood to the parts of your body farthest away from your heart that need it. Okay? So if you have long-term hypertension and you've damaged your arteries and you're not able to get oxygenated blood in a sufficient supply to your brain, more than likely you're going to start having brain deterioration, right? If you have increased cortisol production, more than likely you're going to have organ failure and other issues that contribute to brain deterioration, right? So this makes biological sense. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says black brains age quicker than white brains. So now the interesting thing about this is one of the reasons why I say you can never trust white science, and it's not legitimate. All white science is used to disparage black people and to boost up white people. Now, what they're doing in this article is they're putting this out there as if this is just an inherent issue with black people, right? However, they don't talk about the environmental factors. They're presenting this as if it's a genetic issue, when clearly racism and discrimination are environmental factors. Because if we were in an environment where there was no racism and discrimination, or if we were in an environment where we had power enough to destroy racism and discrimination and punish people appropriately for it, then it wouldn't be as much of a factor because it's not as much of a threat and people aren't going to be stressed out by it. Oh, another racist white person, we just lock them up. Who cares? See, that's the attitude that white people are walking around with. So they're not dealing with that Stress. A black person has a problem, well, we just kill him. We just get them locked up. We just cause them a smear campaign. We just blackball them so they can't get a job. See, we don't have those things available to us because we haven't gotten to the point of where we're working on putting those things together yet. Hopefully that starts. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says a new study published in JAMA Neurology on Monday analyzed the brain scans of 455 black participants. And now this doesn't say where any of these people were. 275 white participants and 737 Latinx participants. Researchers found brain scans of middle-aged and elderly black participants had more signs of cerebral vascular disease, all right, or disorders that affect blood supply to the brain and that are common among people with Alzheimer's than white brains of the same age. Well, I'll tell you what, white people can afford a better diet, and white people go to the gym all the time because they got plenty of free time on their hands from legacy racism money. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've dealt with old black people at my jobs that said, "You're not the boss." Okay, you're right. I'm not the boss. You waiting for the white person to come in. You're a shame. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously. Black brains also exhibited signs of aging sooner at around midlife compared to white and Latinx brains. These signs include how much white matter is in the brain and the width of gray matter in the outer layer of the brain. The paper suggests the cumulative effects of oppression, environmental adversity, and psychological stress, or a lifetime of exposure to racism and discrimination, might be causing black brains to age faster, since scientists have previously determined these factors can lead to cognitive decline. So there's already an existing body of work that shows how harmful these things are. There's already existing bodies of work that show how harmful these things are. You know what I'm saying? Scientists have linked racism and discrimination to a variety of worse health outcomes for black people, including higher infant and maternal mortality rates, shorter life expectancy, and more heart problems. And as you can see, all of these things have to do with circulation. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of black people out there that like their Newports now. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with Newports. I need to put them Black and Milds down. But those things take away from the circulatory system. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker, there's the whole epigenetics issue. That's a fact. Now researchers are better understanding how racism can harm the brain. A previous study that collected data from 59,000 black women found those who experienced daily microaggressions and systemic discrimination were 2.75 times more likely to have worse cognitive functioning, an earlier indicator for Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is a progressive brain disorder that slowly weakens memory and other mental functions. Older Black Americans are twice as likely as their white peers to have Alzheimer's or dementia, and many of them do not get diagnosed until the disease process was more advanced, per the National Institute on Aging. And that's probably because of a result of access to healthcare. You know what I'm saying? That's as a result of access to healthcare. So all of those things are important. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, again, you see they're coming up with vaccines for fentanyl, but they're not even doing anything to solve any of the problems that don't take any money to solve, which is basically just not being a racist asshole. You know what I'm saying? Adam Brickman, a professor of neuropsychology at Columbia University and the study's main author, told Stat he was surprised to see brain aging begin so quickly in black people. The author of the study did not respond to Insider's request for additional comment. it's evidence that when we think about the outcomes late in life, a lot of these changes are starting earlier in life. Brickman told Stat. Cognitive aging is a lifelong phenomenon, not just something that happens when you turn 65. So now here's my question. What does anybody plan to do about this? Is there going to be any legislation? Is there going to be any medical study? What's going to happen as a result of this? Well, nothing. You know, I mean, who cares, right? Because you can't just specifically care about one group of people. I mean, that's just absurd. That's just racism. Now we can't do that. Facts, DeAndre. Newports. Oh man, shout out to my Newport smokers, man. Y'all need to leave them things alone, man. You guys remember Moms for Liberty, this Karen organization that has an issue with Black history? It's critical race theory. Moms for Liberty backed school board member fire superintendent, ban critical race theory, which again, the mainstream media, which is fed their information and standards from the ADL, instead of calling this Black history, they use disinformation and call this critical race theory, because as we all know, critical race theory is not taught in schools. If you mention Martin Luther King, somehow it's critical race theory. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out. Newly elected Berkeley County School Board fired the superintendent. You know what I'm saying? So you know white people are real happy about this.
Dr. Tiffany Richardson, the district's on-staff lawyer, was fired first. Then Superintendent Deion Jackson was fired. The board also hired their replacement.
Oh, they just got rid of all the Black people. I didn't know nothing about the lawyer getting fired. So now one reason why this kind of stuff happens is because we don't strategically do this kind of thing when we move into places. When we move into places, we need to start clearing people out. You know how when you go into the forest, not when we go into the forest, but when they go into forest and they decide to just start chopping down the trees, talking about quote unquote blazing a trail. We need to go up in places and start blazing a trail. Okay, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. I've literally said that, and I'll say it again, just so that people have a warning in case this ever happens. You guys see, YouTube doesn't ever want me to have more than 3,000 subscribers on the channel. You know what I'm saying? But if the algorithm somehow breaks at some point and I actually get the amount of subscribership that I should have, and I'm able to do some things with the financial rewards from YouTube, one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to buy up a bunch of land in Akron. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to raise the prices on the real estate where certain businesses are. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come up with specific zoning laws where certain things are. I'm going to run new roads in new neighborhoods where certain things are. I'm going to go to the school district and fire certain people. I mean, why not? Everybody else is doing it.
Dr. Tiffany Richardson, the district's on-staff lawyer, was fired first. Then Superintendent Deion Jackson was fired. The board also hired their replacements at the same time.
That part.
Even though Barrow said he, as a board member, was unaware of that prior to the meeting.
When they terminated Dr. Richardson and Mr. Jackson's contract, or terminated their employment, in the same motion with Dr. Richardson, they fired her and they hired Brandon Gaskins. Now, how can that be when you hire somebody before somebody is terminated?
The board also announced Anthony Dixon was hired as the new superintendent. Barrow wants to know who hired Dixon ahead of the firing of Jackson.
So there had to be some meeting or some agreement with some board members to negotiate the contract.
Chairman McQuillan would not answer questions about why the firings happened. He said this is a personnel matter.
Oh, that's all we got to do is just not answer. I'm not going to answer any questions because I don't have to. Just like when I get that money and somebody wakes up and there's a freeway through their living room. I'm not going to answer any questions because I just don't feel like it. Embrace villainy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. What up with it, bro?
I'm angry. I'm devastated for the students and the teachers of Berkeley County.
Melissa Soul is a teacher who used to teach in Berkeley County. Her son attends a Berkeley County school. But after last night, the changes, including the board's decision to not allow critical race theory to be taught, she's going to take him out of the district.
So why?
Now, this is a liberal news media outlet, right? The school's not allowing critical race theory to be taught. But these are the same liberal news media outlets that say that critical race theory is not taught in K through 12. So if critical race theory is not taught in grades K through 12, how are people getting fired for teaching critical race theory? Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make sense, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you take a moment and hit that bell icon. And if you guys haven't shared the video out, please make sure you guys share the video out. I want you guys to pay very close attention to this because this is happening all across the United States. And a lot of people aren't talking about it. Nah, this is Berkeley. This is Berkeley County, South Carolina, Abby.
Why would he go to Berkeley County schools? I have to pull him out. He has to go
You
somewhere
are planning to
else.
pull your son?
Yeah, he'll go to virtual SC. He'll be homeschooled.
Dr.
Clover thinks.
So there's that. So now, and this is a recent article. I want to bring you guys attention to the date here. This is November 16th of 2022. Okay. On Tuesday evening, the Berkeley County School District in South Carolina swore in the board members who were elected last week, 6 of whom were endorsed by the conservative activist group Moms for Liberty. Now, here's my question. Where are our activist groups? We don't have any that's not tampered with by the ADL. Where are our groups that are making moves like this? Pushing people out, moving people around, redistricting voting areas. Where are they at? Where are our groups that are making equal and counter moves to these moves being made? Because here's my question. If everybody else is moving and we're not moving, what's going to be the result of that? That's my question, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to be the result of that? So my advice is that these kind of things need to really be looked at. These kind of things need to really be studied, and people need to start directly addressing a lot of these problems, or else it's going to get really bad. It's going to get really out of control. Now, do you guys see why I say in the next 150 years, it'll be anti-Semitic to talk about the transatlantic slave trade? Because guess what? By that time, they'll have completely processed and removed that part of our history, and it'll no longer be associated with us, just like everything that's associated with us. Well, that's crazy. It's perfectly logical to have Leonardo DiCaprio play one of those slaves. They weren't black anyway. It was everybody. Setting the stage for it. And you got the mainstream media. And see, my thing is what needs to be critiqued, the ADL and the mainstream media. The ADL, who is the think tank for NBC, who is the think tank for CNN, they need to be held to the fire of why they keep calling Black history critical race theory, because we've already established that critical race theory is not taught in these grades. So what is it that's being taught? Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, you really think people will be here in 150 years? I don't know. My question is, if they are here, what will they be doing? You know what I'm saying? Besides anti-Black racism. You know? Within 2 hours, the school board had voted to fire the district's first Black superintendent, terminate the district's lawyer, ban critical race theory, and set up a committee to decide whether certain books and materials should be banned from schools. Now, that's interesting. Let me guess. Anything that talks about what white people did? I guarantee you that the bell curve is not banned from any school. I guarantee you that Charles Darwin's The Downfall of Man is not banned from any school. But here's my question. What good does it do me making a YouTube video about this if 29 people watch it? That's my question. What good does this do? What good does it do if fat ass Karens and fat, sweaty, smelly Cathys are able to just waltz up in a school system, you know what I'm saying, and serve the nastiest cupcakes ever and fire everybody just because they want to? How does that help anything? And yes, absolutely. Shout out to Tia. Thank you, Tia. If you guys have not smashed the like button, or if you guys have not shared or subscribed, please do that. And I agree. If Black people all pulled their kids and let the schools lose money, they'd fix it. Cut off that Title I money. Facts. Attack the money. Attack the money. All the things that are done to us are things that we need to start paying attention to, learning from, and start doing those things back. There's no reason why we need to hold any moral high ground, because we're dealing with a bunch of amoral people. So why are we trying to preserve any kind of morality? Well, we're just better than that. We don't need to do that. That's what those people. No, what we need to do is ensure our destiny. That's the only thing that we need to do. And if you got to play dirty to do it because people are playing dirty against us, then we just got to play dirty. It just is what it is. So now here it says, in addition, the board voted to replace the chair with Mac McQuillan, a local attorney and one of the board members backed by Moms for Liberty. And I'm telling you, man, I advise everybody, if there's anybody that's YouTube content creators in the comment section right now, do a video about Moms for Liberty. Run that organization, man. I'm telling you, they've been going around on witch hunts, getting people fired all over the United States. You know what I'm saying? And now you got to ask yourself the question, while all of this is being done, what are Democrats doing? Has anybody ever asked that question? Man, it just seems like the Republicans are just running through and taking heads. What are Democrats doing? Are they doing anything? I mean, are they just sitting there getting beat up? I mean, what are you doing? Are you even trying? What are you doing? You know, they just sit here and let this shit happen. Well, yeah, because they're not invested. This isn't their objective. And I gotta agree. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker says, I said we need to boycott the NBA. Some black dude says we're gonna be boycotting everything. I'm like, so? Yeah, I mean, that's what I would have said to him. So, but after he said we're gonna be boycotting everything, I'd have been like, okay, on to the next topic. I already see where your head is at, so we're done here. What else do you want to talk about? So now here it says the rapid moves Tuesday in the Berkeley County District, the fourth largest in the state, showed the impact of Mom for Liberty's focus on electing conservative school board members and prompted an uproar among some community members in attendance. Now pay very close attention. This is Moms for Liberty, their focus on electing conservative school board members who are getting rid of Black history. And this is who Black people, a lot of Black people, want to cozy up with. I think Trump what? You know what I'm saying? Trump is not the answer. This is Trump's people right here doing this shit. So the Democrats are not an answer. And then if you ask me, the conservatives are not. I don't know why so many people have this wet dream of just begging for conservative acceptance and just really wanting to be cool with some racist ass white people. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Not going to work on my agenda, at least. You can't dominate the world by negotiating with terrorists. You know what I'm saying? You dominate the world by diffusing and containing terrorists. But this, I mean, pay very close attention. You watch a lot of Black male content creators on YouTube. This is it. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye is the new voice, and you know what I'm saying? Like he's speaking for Black men, and the new Black the new thing for Black men is we want to be racist white people. But yet these same Black men who want to be racist white people are outraged by the article that says Black men are the white people of Black people. You like make that shit make sense. Like you want to be racist white people, you want to be aligned with racist white people, but you mad when the griot says you're the white people of Black people. You can't have it all. You know what I'm saying? Something got to give. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta agree. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker, who elected these people to talk for us? Facts. Well, one of the problems I think is that we don't produce our voices. And that's one of the things that we need to start doing. We need to start priming people, producing people at a young age that are intellectual, formidable, articulate, intelligent people that can disseminate political points appropriately and get things done. You know what I'm saying? And until we get that, nothing is going to work in politics. And even if we get that, there's no guarantee that that's going to work in politics. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that hasn't happened yet. That's still something that we can try. Now, see, there you go. There go your boy Ron DeSantis down there. Moms for Liberty. And see all the Karens and shit. You know what I'm saying? You see all these 80s hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? And Princess Leia looking motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Moms for Liberty said it had endorsed more than 500 school board candidates across the country this year, 49 of whom won. 49% of whom won. The organization's candidates were highly successful in Florida, but they had mixed results in Arkansas, California, Michigan, and other states. Moms for Liberty celebrated the 6 candidate wins in Berkeley County as an example of flipping a school board in favor of people who value parental rights. So these are the rights of white parents to not have to ever have to answer the questions that their kids may come home from school with when asking, well, mommy, daddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, what were your great-great-grandparents doing? You know what I'm saying? What were your great-great-grandparents doing with that family musket? These have nothing to do with parental rights. These are people that are ashamed of who they are, so they want to hide it. 4 of the candidates, including McQuillan, were incumbents, while 2 others were new to the board, and they promised more quote-unquote curriculum transparency and fiscal responsibility to put a stop to the woke agenda. What is the woke agenda? We talk about that all the time, but we need to reinforce it. What is the woke agenda? The woke agenda is white accountability. Ron DeSantis and all these adosos. These people are adosos. If you trace these people all the way back, they have ties to the Daughters of Confederacy. They are adosos. American descendants of slave owners. And that's the reason why they're working with these other adoso organizations to get rid of Black history, because they don't look at Black history as American history. They look at it as a shameful little stain that they can put in the family closet and close the China door on it.
Now, NBC News national investigative reporter Tyler Kincaid is covering the schools issue for us today. He spent the weekend at the national summit of the conservative parents' right group, Moms for Liberty. Tyler, this group only came into existence about a year and a half ago. It has seen pretty dramatic growth, though. Talk to us about how that happened.
Yeah, well, when they started, Aaron, they got a lot of airtime on places like Fox News, Glenn Beck, Talk Radio, and so on. And the founders also had connections to some Republican operatives, so that certainly helped. But I talked to a bunch of rank and file chapter members of the summit, and they all told a similar story about how they got involved. They were upset about mask mandates and school closures during the pandemic. They started looking for information online and on Facebook about what they could do. And then they stumbled across Moms for Liberty and got linked in. The group now says they have nearly 100,000 members in 37 states, and they've only existed for about 18 months.
Look, I want you guys to pay very close attention to that. Now, do you see how they got all these 100,000 members? It's because people like Glenn Beck, and I don't know if you guys know who Glenn Beck is, but he's the guy that runs Blaze Media. The YouTube algorithm allows these people to gather mass followings. Mass followings. So you can get somebody on a Glenn Beck show. You can get somebody on a Newsmax. You can get somebody on Matt Walsh. You can get somebody on Candace Owens where they have 1 million subscribers because YouTube just aggregates all of the traffic to them. Now look at my channel. It's 3:27 in the morning and everybody's here. But you know what you see with my channel? You never see any new faces, do you? We always got the same bunch. Shout out to everybody that's here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Black Light family. But you never see any new faces. So, you know, I can never have 1 million subscriber reach to say, hey, you know, I want to bring this person on so this person can talk about these things that are going on and give some solutions onto how we can combat these kind of things. That is not going to be possible because that is not what YouTube was set up for. YouTube was set up for things like Mothers of Liberty to flourish in order to continue to promote anti-Black racism. There is never going to be any Black empowerment that results from using a white supremacist tool. And that's what YouTube is. YouTube is a white supremacist tool. I know the rules of YouTube. I know they could zap my channel any day. I know that they throttle my channel. The idea, though, is to at least start somewhere. But pay very close attention to that. You never see new faces. And it's not because we're not nice people. We even let trolls hang around. Pay attention to that.
Now, NBC News national investigative reporter Tyler Kincaid is covering the schools issue for us today. He spent the weekend at the national summit of the conservative parents' right group, Moms for Liberty. Tyler, this group only came into existence about a year and a half ago. It has seen pretty dramatic growth, though. Talk to us about how that happened.
Yeah, well, when they started, Aaron, they got a lot of airtime on places like Fox News, Glenn Beck, Talk Radio, and so on. And the founders also had connections to some Republican operatives, so that certainly helped. But I talked to a bunch of rank and file chapter members at the summit, and they all told a similar story about how they got involved. They were upset about mask mandates and school closures during the pandemic. They started looking for information online and on Facebook about what they could do. And then they stumbled across Moms for Liberty and got linked in. The group now says they have nearly 100,000 members in 37 states, and they've only existed for about 18 months.
There were some pretty big Republican names at this summit there. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, for example, gave the keynote. I want to play a little bit of what he had to say and ask you about it on the other side.
Our school system is for educating kids, not indoctrinating kids.
So teaching kids that white people never did anything wrong ever is not indoctrination. But okay. But okay.
So, Tyler, talk to us about some of the other big speakers there and what their messages were.
Right. Governor DeSantis was a big crowd pleaser. There were a lot of Mamas for DeSantis stickers all over the place. And he received an award from the group before his speech. But the other names included people like Betsy DeVos, Trump's education secretary, Senator Rick Scott, who heads up the Senate Republican election arm. And their presence just shows how much of a player Moms for Liberty has become in conservative politics. But you also have people from conservative think tanks.
So now I want you guys to pay very close attention, and shout out to Carla, who is in here. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I'm saying. Like, the blueprint is here. We always talk about this. Think tanks. Where is our think tank? Where are our academic scholars? We need to have a think tank in every area of life. But here's my question, though. Where are they? Are they being developed? We see what's going on with these other groups, but we don't see this going on with us. Now, my question is, why not? Because aside from me and Carla and DJ Elmo and Val and Bronze and Alonzo and Carlton and AB Promotions and Tia and everybody who's always in here all the time, there must be some people out there, and Abby, shout out to Abby. There must be some people out there who think that think tanks are a bad idea. There must be some people who think that coming up with political organizations to create focus groups is a bad idea. And it's not me. That is one of the things that I have been advocating for on my channel. So you have to ask yourself, why don't we have those things? And who's responsible for us not having them? Now, my question is, somebody could say that this is just nonsense. This is just hogwash. This is just stupid talk, right? This is just Rob sounding stupid. You're an idiot, Rob. Okay, well, if I'm an idiot, what do you call the person who created Mothers of Liberty as a result of having access to Blaze Media and Fox News, who put into place objectives from think tanks to now be disseminated into law by Ron DeSantis? if I'm stupid. So my question is, why do we ask these questions about things that other people have when we're looking at why people have things and we don't have them? Where is our organization? Where is the Black female Karen organization that there's a bunch of middle-aged Black Karens who overbearingly cry and say that our children are not taught Black history properly in this country of the United States, and come together and create an organization and get these people out of schools like the Mothers of Liberty? Because remember, these are the Mothers of Liberty. Everybody always talks about how men do this and men do that. These are women doing this. All the gender war people that say, these, women want to take the lead and this, that, shit, these women right here taking the lead. So my thing is, where is any of this shit? Exactly. Facts. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker, where's the Black Trump who's going to go unapologetically hard for Black people? The Black Trump will go unapologetically hard on Black people on behalf of white people if we ever had an actual quote-unquote Black Trump. We got a couple. We got Tim Scott, you know what I'm saying? We got Clarence Thomas. The first thing they got to do to show their allegiance is just to talk a bunch of nonsense. Black people commit all the crime in the United States. Yeah, just because you're screaming into the mic doesn't mean that any of that babble that just oozed out of that asshole on your face that you call a mouth is true. You know what I'm saying? So if people want to counter these kind of things, to me, the logical step in order to counter these kind of things is to come up with counter objectives. Counter objectives. Now the question is, will it happen? See, if you ask me, these things can happen and they will happen, but they'll only happen right at the moment where there's no other choice. Because what I've noticed is when given a choice, people just let life live them instead of living life. You know what I'm saying? It's just my observation.
Liberty has become in conservative politics. But you also have people from conservative think tanks leading trainings for activists, a lot of talk about how school mental health programs are forms of indoctrination, which the crowd cheered to. And Florida lawmakers talking about filing more so-called parental rights bills next year, Aaron.
Yeah, what kind of impact does this group, this Moms for Liberty, really hope to have on the midterm elections that are coming up?
Right. So the local chapters are going to be focused on school board races, and their supporters tend to be conservative or Republican. So you just play that out. The midterms are all about turnout. If you have a base of conservative leading voters engaged in hyper-local elections, school boards, that's going to have an effect up the ballot. That's exactly what Senator Rick Scott said. And that's what folks like him are counting on, Aaron, to see. They see Moms for Liberty as a boost for the GOP's chances overall to take back Congress and hold on to a lot of governor's offices.
All right. National investigative reporter Tyler Kincaid with us today. Tyler, thank you.
If they take control of the U.S.
All right. Now, here's my question. How long do you think it took to organize the group Mothers for Liberty? It said it didn't take them that long. So how many people you think are running around calling the Mothers of Liberty scammers or pocket watching them? I bet you this. I bet you there's more people dumping money into the Mothers of Liberty and throwing money at the Mothers of Liberty than there are calling them scammers and pocket watching. And if one sentence is just slightly different than the sentence that somebody else said, we got to have a 5-hour elaborate debate about it. I bet you that shit's not going on. So now here it says early in the meeting, according to video posted by the district, the board moved into executive session. Shortly after it returned, Kathy Littleton, one of the Moms for Liberty-backed members, moved to terminate Tiffany Richardson, the district's in-house counsel, and retain Brandon Gaskins, a lawyer who was deputy chief legal counsel for former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford. Moments later, McClellan moved to terminate Deion Jackson, who was appointed superintendent last year, and replace him with Anthony Dixon, who worked in the district as an administrator. Dixon will be the district's second black superintendent after Jackson. So what they did was basically took him out and put a bootlick in his place. The audience members gasped at the firing of Jackson and Richard and shouted in disagreement. So now this is what he says. All right, listen up. McQuillan chastised the audience. We're going to be respectful in this meeting. You may not agree with our votes, but I ask that you please be respectful and calm. So much for freedom of speech, huh? What kind of example are you setting for our kids disrupting a meeting like this? So, I mean, they're using their tactics. Facts. Shout out to Carla Lockhart. You see how the loudest shouter became president? He was loud, not necessarily right. That's what Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh used to do. Facts. While black people run around bucking their eyes, ducking their head under the cap that's on their heads, you know what I'm saying? You got these morons that have zero brains inside of their heads running around with their chest out saying absolutely nothing. And then you got a bunch of black people that want to be like these idiots too. That's a whole nother issue. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says none of the board members responded to emails or phone calls seeking comment Wednesday. Jackson and Richardson did not respond to requests for comment. David Barrow, who had been school board's chair until Tuesday meeting, asked McQuillan to explain the terminations. I'm not going to discuss personal matters. So I'm not going to discuss personnel matters. So he's not going to discuss personnel matters. So that's just it. So now you don't see anybody running around making him apologize or forcing him to discuss personnel matters. He said he's not discussing it, and that's just it. But if Kyrie Irving says, I'm not going to discuss my religious beliefs, then all of a sudden Kyrie Irving is an anti-Semite. Question. Does that make any sense? Better question. Is it supposed to make any sense? You see how that works? He said that Gaskins, the newly hired counsel who was not president, would share more information about Jackson's firing at another time. Barrow called the firings a travesty and a political witch hunt. Yvonne Bradley, who was one of the 3 board members to vote against the firings, said, ladies and gentlemen, you are being fooled by these 6. Unbelievable what the chairman would do. It is unbelievable how this is going. So again, why is that unbelievable? I'm so tired of anytime something like this happening, black people are just baffled. Why? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Are you serious? Have you not been alive your entire life in this country and seen what people do? What you can believe in a God that you've never seen, but you can't believe that a bunch of white people are racist. That is absolute insanity right there. My God. She added, looking at the audience, and we voted for these people. You did. You took time. Well, you're getting what you asked for then. You voted for those people. Bradley and Crystal Wigfall, interesting name there, another board member, then walked out of the meeting, and it appeared in the video that some members of the audience followed them. Before the board took on the votes, several speakers argued in the public comment section against the resolutions banning critical race theory and setting up a committee to evaluate books and other materials. Now, let me ask you guys, what are they banning? What are they setting up these committees for? What are they setting up these committees for? You see that? 2 teachers said the district did not teach critical race theory, which we all know that. A pastor argued that critical race theory could help teach students about local history. And so now, again, here you go. This is a pastor arguing that critical race theory could help teach students about local history. Why would the pastor even say anything? You know what I'm saying? So now you got the pastor saying that critical race theory can help, and you got 2 teachers saying that they don't teach critical race theory. And NAACP representative said addressing structural racism should be the board's priority, and a district librarian and additional committee was redundant because there were already policies dictating how to buy books for libraries. The librarian also noted that there is already a process for parents to change specific titles they didn't want their children to read. These vaguely worded bans have an impact on the teachings of Event H and its important lessons. So, I mean, again, this isn't even about Black people, guys. I want you to understand that. Do you notice how slavery and Jim Crow and Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass and any of that kind of stuff, none of that's been mentioned? Malcolm X, none of that's been mentioned. We're talking about Event H. Brandon Fish, the community relations director for the nonprofit Charleston J Federation, said at the meeting, learning about Event H and other quote unquote dark chapters in our history, that's not our history. We didn't commit Event H. We committed anti-Black racism and slavery here in the United States, as well as Jim Crow and apartheid. We didn't have anything to do with Event H. That is not R as American history. That's J American history. Do you guys see where these particular people are trying to blur the lines? This is why the Kyrie and the Kanye issues are so important. That is not our history. We didn't commit that act. We've committed enough atrocities in the world, but we didn't do that one. So what is this? What is this particular individual talking about, quote unquote, our history? That's not our history. That's part of your cultural history, not part of our national history. A lot of people from here died intervening in that. You know what I'm saying? Also, now learning about Event H and other dark chapters in our history, other stuff like slavery and Jim Crow. Slavery and Jim Crow are the only thing that took place here in the United States. This didn't. And now you guys see exactly what I'm talking about this particular organization. By the time they get through with it, it'll be them who is coming off the slave ships for the second time. So now here it says later in the meeting, the board moved to ban teaching critical race theory, quote unquote, in any form. So now we got to ask ourselves the question, well, when they say teaching critical race theory in any form, what does that mean? Critical race theory in any form? Does that mean the bell curve? Does that mean white feminism? What does that mean? Barrow asked for a definition of critical race theory, which is the study of racism's effect on social structures and is usually taught at the graduate level, but has become shorthand to describe quote unquote progressive ideas about race and gender. Let me tell you something. Black history is not a progressive idea. It's something that actually happened. McQuillan read a different definition that matched language used by the Goldwater Institute, a conservative think tank. So everybody take note of that. The Goldwater Institute. So we're going to start having to check out and run the credentials of the Goldwater Institute, a conservative think tank. Saying forms of it are not appropriate for children being taught in a district school. I'll tell you what, it wasn't appropriate for me at 5, 6, 7 years old to be subjected by racist white kids at the school that I went to. It wasn't appropriate for me to be having to fight my way through dealing with those unchecked heathens that came from their heathenistic homes. But who cares, right? Each vote firing the superintendent, picking his replacement, terminating the district's lawyer, and banning critical race theory passed with support from only the 6 Moms for Liberty-backed members. At the end of the meeting, the board voted 8-0 to set up a committee to evaluate guidelines on removing inappropriate sexual pornographic content from schools, after specifying that the committee, including teachers, mental health professionals, and librarians. So now, here's my thing, right? Every time we hear about a story like this, how many stories like this have I talked about on this channel? Where is the counter story where we ever get anything accomplished? Does that ever happen? Or do we just constantly hear about these particular kinds of stories? You see, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem. Richmond Times-Dispatch. New draft history standards reorient framing of race relations. Can you believe it? We're all in it together as men. I mean, like, look at that white guy as the leader. As long as it's his voice and he's saying everything, well, damn it, it's got to be right. And everybody else should just fall in line. Fuck out of here. Governor Glenn Youngkin spoke in May about a State Department of Education report that found alarming trends in Virginia's K-12 performance. So what it says here is that the Virginia Department of Education on Wednesday revised a draft of its K-12 history standards to include Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth in elementary grade levels following backlash from the public. Charles Pyle, a spokesperson for the Department of Education, said the omissions were unintentional. So what you guys need to understand about this is that the Virginia Department of Education had removed Martin Luther King's Day and Juneteenth from elementary grade education. Now, I mean, how are the white people going to continue to inappropriately quote Martin Luther King if they take him out of the history books? But remember, there's a lot of black people, a lot, and mainly black men, a lot that want to just jump right in bed on this side. None of these sides are our sides. The only side of any of this is outside. New draft history standards written under Governor Glenn Youngkin's administration, which state education officials released on Friday, prompted a scathing response from critics around the state and nation who called the new draft a whitewashing of history. Major revisions to the draft history standards came 2 months after a Virginia Department of Education official said the department did not anticipate making significant changes to a draft the department released in July that was written largely by then Governor Ralph Northam's administration. The new Youngkin document does not reference the ongoing legacy of slavery and its effect on today's society. Now, again, this is Republican Glenn Youngkin. You know what I'm saying? The party that a lot of black men aspire to be a part of. Instead of creating our own powerful political party that dominates all these other parties, they want to coddle up with these Republican racists. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? The new Youngkin document does not reference the ongoing legacy of slavery and its effect on today's society. It does, however, contain some new teaching requirements that were not mentioned in the original Northam document, including references to Japanese internment camps, hate groups like the KKK, and about Senator Hiram Revels of Mississippi, the first African American to serve in Congress. There you go. I think a lot of the black men that want to be a part of this, I don't know, maybe like people feel that we haven't done enough collectively and they kind of don't know what to do. So they feel that if they get into some pre-established stencil, it'll somehow help. It's not going to help. And it's really embarrassing that there are black men out there that want to be a part of some shit like this. But there's a large amount. Honestly, like I would say there's about 50-50 out there. There's a large majority of black dudes that think that white supremacy and racism is the way out. It's insane to me. Y'all will see. Wait till the election. If my channel is still around by then, you'll see. You guys will remember these live streams and be like, man, this is crazy. Look at how these people talking. The Youngkin version released Friday, which the department said, quote unquote, inadvertently omitted King Day and Juneteenth in elementary levels, did include teaching about King starting in 6th grade. We don't need to compromise on on how it makes white kids feel about what their family members did. That's not my problem. My problem is how that shit affects me. How it affects my kids. How it affects my family. And the fact that the United States government sanctioned it, and that the fact that the person sitting next to me benefits off it. I don't care about somebody face turning red or somebody crying all over the place. Not my problem. You know what I'm saying? The Department of Education and the State Board of Education are required by law to review standards of learning subject areas at least once every 7 years. The history standards were last reviewed in 2015, and the board was set to review the original draft in August. But State Superintendent Jillian Bilal urged the board to delay the first formal review of the standards in order to give Youngkin's 5 newly appointed board members additional time to review the documents. The State Board of Education is scheduled to review the new draft at its 9 a.m. meeting on Thursday in the James Monroe Building in downtown Richmond. The board is scheduled to uphold public engagement sessions between November 28th and December 16th, and public hearings from January 9th through January 13th. So now here's my question. How many of you guys had heard about this? If you guys had heard about this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys had not heard about this, give me a thumbs down. And I'm telling you, I'm going to try to cover anything that I find that's like this. just so that we have it on the record, because it's happening so much. I'm telling you, they are literally on a jihad to rewrite history. And that's why not only is content creation important, but also keeping a record of this kind of stuff and building think tanks and media apparatuses. That is important. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they'll first get rid of the history, then they'll get rid of us. Or at least do what they can, like they've been doing with abortion, to contain Black people at quote unquote manageable levels. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they've been doing. If the process goes according to schedule, the board will propose and adopt a final version of the standards in February. If approved, the standards would be enacted in the 2024-25 school year. The Northam administration created the original draft released in July over a span of nearly 2 years in consultation with advisory committees of historians, professors, parents, students, and museums. The process by which the new revision was drafted under the Youngkin administration is not clear. So basically, Youngkin just came in there and just decided to just do whatever it was that he wanted to do. Youngkin just came in there and just said, I'm just about to do whatever it is that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Pyle, the spokesperson for the Department of Education, did not disclose how much of a role institutions like the conservative Thomas Fordham Institute or Ohio's Hillsdale College played in drafting the new proposed standards. So again, these are conservative think tanks. Let me ask you guys a question. What think tank do we have working on reparations? What think tank do we have working on an anti-FBA hate crime bill? And if we don't have think tanks working on these things, who's working on them? Who's seen the draft of the anti-FBA hate crime bill? Who's seen the draft of nationwide reparations? Where is it? That we can pull it up. Where's the PDF file? We can look it up right now. And if we can't find those things, if we don't have those things available to us to look at, we got to ask ourselves the question, why? And we got to ask ourselves the question, well, what the hell is going on? Facts, Val. And they're absolutely not going to be able to get rid of us. They're going to try, but they can't. So that's why they use the containment method, because they know through their research that they can't get rid of us. So that's why they use the containment methods that they use, and all of the psychological stuff. So now here it says, I can tell you that Ms. Barlow said earlier this fall she wanted the agency to reach out to a broader set of academics with expertise in the content and in the development of the curriculum, Ply said. And that's what was done. Hillsdale College played a key role in writing the widely condemned 1776 report on U.S. history commissioned by then President Donald Trump. The report and the Trump 1776 Commission were created to promote patriotic education and partly to counter the New York Times 1619 project, which again, the New York Times doesn't even have any business doing this. The New York Times has no business touching the 1619 project, but you see, the New York Times wants to do a 1619 project so they can use that bogus garbage to then try to turn around and use that crap to try to debunk somebody like Ronald Dalton. You see, you got to understand all of the players in these games. You got to understand all of the plays in these wars. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one group. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole coalition. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one group at all. It's an entire coalition. So now here it says other institutions that Bilal and Vido staff publicly acknowledged reaching out to our Core Knowledge Foundation, American Enterprise Institute, the National Association of Scholars, and the Jack Miller Center. And think about this, right? I want you guys to think about the jobs that these people have. These people are cultural racists, and they work at a company where they just get to sit back and do racist shit all day long. I mean, it must be nice. That's why we got to start making businesses like that. I mean, they get to sit up there and tell N-word jokes all day and get paid for it. Non-profit. Kanye West might show up at some of these places and be a guest speaker. You know what I'm saying? Get your kid a pair of Yeezys and warn Kanye. We let you slide with Kim. You better not do another one. Ha 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? It's Kanye. You want to be around that shit for? You know what I'm saying? All these black conservatives out here, like, make this shit make sense. You know what I'm saying? This is the shit that I don't understand. I'm not even going there. Never mind. Not even going there. Not even going there. Now I'm going to go there. Fuck it. Now, you guys all know my stance on relationships. You know what I'm saying? But what I find interesting about the whole conservative thing is a lot of those conservatives are not only most of those conservatives are people like Christian Obumseli. They're not only black people that hate the black community, but they really have an issue with black women. These are the types that make all kinds of content on YouTube, calling the black community the community, and you know what I'm saying, going in on black women every chance that they get. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, you're gonna go on a double dinner date with Nick Fuentes? How's that gonna? You're gonna you're gonna take your non-black girlfriend on a double date with Nick Fuentes and, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene and whoever she happens to be fucking at the time? Like, I don't know. I to me, like, that's weird. I don't understand how that works. Like, sometimes I just don't think these people think. You know what I'm saying? Like, what what are you going to do? These are the people that you want to be buddies with, but you have a problem with black people. You have a problem with black women. So you're going to hang out with your white nationalist friends, with your non-black partner or your non-black spouse. You're going to go and eat some raw hamburger meat on a dinner date with Nick Fuentes. Kanye. Okay. I really hope people got some cameras out and be posting some TikToks, because, like, I really want to see how those go. I don't understand a lot of the black dudes that are on that shit. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make any, there's no benefit. There's no way any of that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. The new draft standards written under the Youngkin administration acknowledge the importance of students learning about slavery and say that slavery is the antithesis of freedom. But there are no references in the new draft to the ongoing legacy of slavery in the United States. The new Youngkin standards also do not mention the word racism. What do you guys think about that? That's a problem, says James Grossman, executive director of the American Historical Association. You don't have to argue that racism is the central force in American history. You can argue that the central concepts in American history are freedom or liberty or democracy, but you cannot teach American history without helping students understand that racism has been a central theme. You just can't. Yeah, because the only thing that the United States has ever created that has been a gift that has never stopped giving is its creation of anti-Black racism. Anti-Black racism gave the United States Hollywood. It gave the United States a thriving post-industrial economy. It gave the United States legacy wealth. I mean, man, shout out to racism. I thought on Thanksgiving you were supposed to give thanks. You know? Grossman, who heads the largest association of professional historians in the world, wrote letters to the state boards of education last month, offering help with revisions and urging members to adopt the original Northam standards, which he said align with the association's criteria. In a letter on Wednesday, see, now this is what I want you guys to understand. I want you guys to understand this thoroughly. These people are so invested in maintaining white supremacy and revising history that they have $1 million businesses dedicated to it. Where is our $1 million business dedicated to our objectives? Where is it? And what have they done? Take me to your leader. You know what I'm saying? Yet this is not a racist country. Facts, Carla. Facts. What my question is, where are all of the things that these people have? Where are our equivalents of them? See, every time we do a stream like this, every time we talk about these kind of things, I'm going to ask that question. And I encourage you guys to ask that question. Ask that question every single time. Every single time. Where is our agenda? What is the agenda? Where is it? We're looking at agendas being played out that other people are doing. Okay, now every time we talk about these agendas, are we just going to sit there and say, well, they're not doing anything for Black people? Of course, these organizations ain't going to do anything for Black people. These are white supremacist organizations. The whole purpose of them is to cut us out of shit and not do shit for us. So, of course, they're not going to do anything for us. So now that everybody knows the obvious, how are we going to deal with that? Val said that Grossman sounds like a sombrerito. A sombrerito. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what a sombrerito is? A sombrerito is community guidelines friendly. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? On Wednesday, State Senator Jennifer McClellan, a Democrat from Richmond, urged the board to reject the Youngkin administration's draft of the standards, citing her ancestors who endured slavery and Jim Crow and her own experience as a student in Virginia's public schools. McClellan said she has seen how an incomplete history has fueled ignorance and even stoked racial tension. And I don't believe that incomplete education stokes racial tension. I think that racial tension is all cultural. You know what I'm saying? McClellan said the revised standards state education officials released last week appear to have been written with the heavy hand of a political appointee with an agenda, disregarding the guidance of educators, experts, and relevant stakeholders over a nearly 2-year period. Del Glenn Davis, Republican of Virginia Beach, who chairs the House Education Committee, wrote off such criticism and said that the new Youngkin standard tell a fuller history than the original draft document. A fuller history, you know what I'm saying? Unlike before, the new draft requires us to talk about the KKK. Now, mind you, it just says to talk about the KKK. It doesn't say how to discuss them. And we all know that when it comes to the right wing, a lot of the right wing, people are friends with the KKK as well as members of the KKK. All of the women have pictures with them. You know what I'm saying? Which was not required in prior standards, Davis said. If they can't understand the conversation about racism is inherently implied in those conversations, then they don't understand those events and that part of American history, because the KKK does not exist without racism, which is not true at all. That is not true at all. The KKK does exist without racism. The KKK is European white culture. It's white Freemasonry. So the history of the KKK and the reason why they chose the letters KKK and how it's the 11th letter of the alphabet, and when you add all three, it equals 33, like 33 degrees of enlightenment. What are you talking about? The same people that created the dollar bill. The same people that created the United States of America. The KKK is not indicative of American racism. But again, this is what happens when you have white people as well as the J community attempting to try to control these conversations. And it's not just them attempting to try to control these conversations. We have to take some accountability on our own for being blatantly absent, for being blatantly silent, for just blatantly not showing up and standing up for ourselves, or not putting together anything to combat any of this stuff. No political battle has ever been won on YouTube. No political battle has ever been won on Twitter. It sounds nice to get a couple laughs, but if you don't have the last laugh, then none of the laughs that you had before that matter. And it doesn't seem to me that people grasp that concept. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the new draft also contains subtle changes to the way slavery is described in relation to the Civil War. The original Northam administration draft references multiple times that slavery was the central cause of the Civil War, while the Youngkin draft administration does not. So now we have, the whole white savior bullshit going on. We fought the Civil War to save you people. No, you didn't. What are you talking about? Now you have people just flat out lying and correcting those lies is anti-American or quote unquote unpatriotic. So you see the right wing is taking some pages and some tactics out of the ADL handbook. You know what I'm saying? Here's my question. Anybody surprised? Anybody shocked? I don't think anybody should be surprised or shocked, but there may be some people that are surprised or shocked. You know what I'm saying? The revision was about 350 pages shorter than the original Northam draft, partly because, unlike the original, it does not include a curriculum framework. The Standards of Learning Curriculum Framework is a more detailed document that the State Board of Education would typically approve 10 or 11 months after the standards are approved. The guiding principles for the revision states students will know our nation's exceptional strengths, including individual innovation, moral character, ingenuity, and adventure while learning from terrible periods in action and direct conflict with those ideas. Yeah, that's not really how that works if you're just picking and choosing what you want to teach and what you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? It's not how that works. So now here it says outside of Thursday's meeting, the Hamke Center, which says it organizes Asian Americans in Virginia for social, racial, and economic justice, which I don't know what kind of economic justice Asians need. I don't know what kind of racial justice they need either. And the Sikh Coalition are set to host a protest at 11:30. These organizations are urging the board to reject the Youngkin administration revisions and move forward with the original draft. And I don't understand. I don't even understand their investment or involvement, because for one, those people are anti-black, and those people do not have an extensive history of oppression in the United States. They don't have an extensive history of oppression. They have an extensive history in taking part in oppressing people here in the United States. The two organizations, along with about 20 others, issued a news release on Tuesday expressing concern about unexpected last-minute implications for involving new outside actors in the creation of the new draft. The Youngkin administration purportedly blocks the process to introduce partisan bias and score political points, said Suk Young Oh of the Hamke Center in a statement. And the results are disastrous. The standards are a dangerous step backwards in content and pedology. This is especially alarming because the original proposed standards took steps in the right direction to teach about U.S. and Virginia history from diverse perspectives from a wide range of communities. Virginia is such an old state. It was a racist colony before the United States was even around. The Maryland and Virginia colonies. But what I find fascinating, and I think what people need to understand, is the people that pay the money and the people that build the weapons are the people that win the wars. And as you can see, these people are building political weapons. You know what I'm saying? These people are waging political wars. These people are putting millions and billions of dollars into resources to maintain the pseudo-historic utopia that they live in. What are we doing about it is the question. We don't even have counter apparatuses to deal with any of the things that they're doing. And I'm not trying to be funny, but in the immediate future, it doesn't look like there are going to be any made. We're literally the only people talking about this kind of stuff. So, that being said, there's a small percentage of people that actually are interested in power and control. And if there's a small group of people that are interested in power and control, whatever power and control that small group of people earn, whatever power and control that small group of people take, that small group of people is not entitled or not required to share. And I think that that's something that you guys should consider. Because if we make the right moves, I don't think we need to share with anybody. Because nobody was sharing in the dedication that we have had in examining these things. If they cared that much, they'd be doing the same thing we're doing. And that's one of the reasons why I'm against unity. Because I've never seen a genius do well on the short bus. Now, why did I use that analogy? Am I calling people dumb? No. What I'm saying is that the slowest person on the relay team loses the race. So if we got a bunch of people in here that are about the business and nobody else can really give the business the time of day, what that means is that we get the business. And that's just it. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, you guys have held out 3 hours and 27 minutes. Shout out to each and every one of you guys that has watched the entire stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the stream tonight. My man Alonzo. Hey, Mr. Knickerbocker. Hopefully, I am not forgetting anybody. If I am, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I will definitely shout you out because I do not want to make anybody feel like they are not appreciated or left out, because that is absolutely not the case. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to bust out a couple streams tomorrow. I'm going to try to bust out a couple videos tomorrow. But until then, I will catch you guys on the next one. All right? Peace.